Um, Yo, my people, like the video, subscribe, smash the like button, smash that freaking like button, guys. Like the video, subscribe, smash the like button, guys. This is a Sunday hangout where we're gonna be talking about what is going on in the world of transfer news. We're gonna be talking about Nicolas Jackson medical potentially being done. It's a done deal. It should be announced tomorrow morning, tonight, or possibly Tuesday. Kalidou Koulibaly has joined Saudi Arabia Al Hilal, and also we're gonna talk about Mason Mount, Dilema talk in terms of United, Chelsea. So many discussion needs to be had. We're gonna talk about Mason. We're gonna do a football debate in their prime. We're gonna talk about Ferdinand, Vincent Company, and John Terry. Who come first? Who come second? And who come third? We're gonna do based on you can use trophies, you can use longevity, you can use anything for it. Who comes first? Who comes second? Who comes last? Who comes last? We're gonna talk about Moises Caicedo discussion. We're gonna have a discussion about Caicedo. Because according to the report, I think we're favourable to get him. We're on it in terms of getting him. Smash that like button, guys. Smash that like button, guys. It's a Sunday hangout. Smash that freaking like button. Like that damn vid. Subscribe. Smash the like button. Get that freaking like. So, guys, we're on the road to 3K subscriber, guys. Freaking get the likes up. Get the likes up. Support your boy. Support us. Get that freaking like. Let's go, my people. Yo, my people, I wanna day now like the video, subscribe, smash the like button, get that freaking likes off. It's a Sunday hangout. Put a Sunday hangout just talking about football, transfer news, and everything. But firstly, we're gonna talk about Nicolas Jackson potentially medical being done. Officially, is gonna be being announced tonight or potentially tomorrow morning. Kalidou Koulibaly has joined Saudi Arabia Al Hilal. Congratulations to you, Kalidou Koulibaly, and thank you for your service. We're gonna talk about Mason Mount Dilema. Discussion about him. We're also gonna do a footballing debate. John Terry, Vincent Company, and I think Rio Ferdinand, because it has been a debate on the Twitter where we're gonna have a discussion about it. We're also gonna talk about Moises Caicedo, because so many talk has been on him. Can we get him? Are we favored? Yes, we are favored to get him, but it all, I think it all depends on how much we are willing to pay. And I think I'm still confident we're gonna get Caicedo. I think the problem is all about getting the outgoings out and fixing the dilemma with Mason, because we have to fix that line. The dilemma needs to be fixed, because if the dilemma is not fixed enough, there's gonna be a serious conversation. So we have to fix the dilemma, which I believe it will be fixed. So we're gonna freaking fix that dilemma. When we're gonna fix it, I don't know. How we're gonna fix it, I don't know. But I trust the ownership and the boardroom to find a way to fix the dilemma when it comes to Mason. So firstly, let's talk. Tom, Kalidou Koulibaly to Saudi Arabia Al Hilal. Give me your take on him.
I mean, you bought. How much did you actually pay for him originally?
I think 33, 34, something like that.
So, and he's what? Is he 30 or how old is he?
32.
He's 32.
Mm-hmm.
You probably bought him when he was 31. To be fair, I mean, He had a lot of experience. We got to give him that when he went there, when he went to you guys. But he's just not adapted to the Premier League, has he? Let's be honest. I
Mm-hmm.
think the speed and not so much the intensity, but I just think he wasn't. I don't think he was. If you'd have brought Koulibaly maybe 4 years earlier to the Premier League, then we might have
Mm-hmm.
had a conversation. Because there was that comparison a while ago, wasn't there, with Van Dijk and Koulibaly of who was the best centre back in the world at that
Mm-hmm.
time. If you'd have brought him in around about that sort of time, I think we could have had a conversation. But you brought him in at the back end of his career, and look, I mean, he's gone to Saudi Arabia, to Saudi Arabia, along with many of your players, and I just think for him, I mean, he comes to the Premier League, he tried it out, and it didn't work. Right, it was a failed experiment, but he's going to get one last big payday out of his career via going to
Mm-hmm.
Saudi Arabia, and I just look at it from the perspective of, I mean, I don't know, is he like religious, like Muslim, or
Yeah, he's a Muslim. Yeah.
yeah, well, going to a native Muslim country, I mean that's obviously going to have a benefactor. It had a benefactor in the Benzema deal, and Kante as well. Like, he's had a benefactor in a couple of deals as well. But no, I just think with Koulibaly, I think he's a decent defender at Chelsea, but he didn't live up to the expectation. I don't think anyway. Not from what the reputation that we had from when he was at Napoli.
Do you,
But
do, you, do you think we should have given him more time to adapt to the APL, or just
no,
cashing out?
no, 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 no. I think you've done the right thing in cashing out. But as I say, I think with someone like Koulibaly, you needed to buy him 3 4 years before.
Mm-hmm.
Not when you don't buy someone like Koulibaly at 30 31. Like it's pointless really. Even for a cheap price like 30 40 million, like no, there's no point. What, like, you go for your younger marquee sort of defenders, like what you guys did with Benyat Badashile, for example. Badashile is a brilliant centre half that you brought to the club. That's the sort of profile of players that you need to be going for, not a 31-year-old Koulibaly who's already had his prime time of his career, really. And like you say, he's going to get one last payday, and at the end of the day, he's going to a native Muslim country, so for religious perspectives and point of views, I guess it suits for that as well. And look, you haven't made your money back. You've made a loss, but it's only a minor loss. Whereas I don't know if the Saudi Arabian sort of league wouldn't have perked up as much, maybe he would still be on your books right now. And I think the big thing for Koulibaly, though, with you guys, not so much about, getting rid of him and maybe finding a replacement or anything like that. I think, was he on like 360K a week or something
Yeah,
stupid
it's
like
close
that?
to like I think 250 to 300, something like that
Two
in
fifty,
between.
300, like getting that off the wage bills, vital and crucial, really. And I mean, I can understand, I know we're getting to the topic before, I can understand maybe someone like Mason Mount's frustration that he's been at Chelsea for however many years. He's won the Champions
Mm-hmm.
League with Chelsea. He's done arguably what Koulibaly hasn't done in his career and win the Champions League. And Koulibaly gets paid upwards of that sort of figure, but you guys are haggling over giving Mason Mount that sort of contract. Like, I can understand from different players' perspectives, but I think for Koulibaly anyway, it works for him because he gets a big payday at the end of his career. It works for you guys because you get him off the wage bill, and you also free up a selection spot in the squad. For which, obviously, with what we saw when you guys had to pick, I think it was your Champions League squad, wasn't it? And you had to leave like 6 players out or something out of the new
Mm-hmm.
signings, 5 or 6 players out, which at any football club, I mean, leaving one or two out is very rare, but 5 or 6, it's almost unheard of, really. But no, I think it benefits all parties, really. Koulibaly leaving to go to Saudi Arabia.
Fair enough. Blue Eyes, how you doing today, brother? Happy Sunday to you.
Happy Sunday, man. Hey, I'm good,
Yeah, how you
man.
doing, brother?
Big
Shout
up,
out to you, brother.
big up, man. Yeah,
Big up. Give me your quick take on Kalidou Koulibaly joining Al Hilal in Saudi Arabia. 3-year deal, 2026. And Chelsea's going to be making a 25 million euro from him.
yeah, man. That's exactly. He congratulations to the young man. He got a nice
Mm-hmm.
little deal. that still gives him competitive football and at least not at least but very good earnings as well. So yeah,
Mhm.
congratulations. It's a very nice way to sort of continue and challenge yourself, right?
Yeah.
In a new league. And this is not the first time that people have gone to play in a completely new league for the first time and will end up succeeding. So yeah, you want to wish him I want to wish him all the best. I'm not sure what the I don't know how to look at his performance at Chelsea. How do you assess his performance minus the
That's
injuries?
because do you think we should have given him more time to adapt, or just cashing on him if you have if there's an interest in that?
The thing is, just because Chelsea fans know how to catch a suspect in defense. Guy, Chelsea fans, if you do one move, the Chelsea fans will call you suspect. And Kalidou Koulibaly had like 3 or 4 moves, man.
Sliding tackle.
Yeah, but again, congratulations to the young man. Um, so he's gone for good, correct? He's not a,
Yeah,
he's gone, yeah, he's
yeah,
gone.
it's official.
Oh,
This is the Chelsea official website. Yeah.
okay, yeah. Congratulations to Kalidou Koulibaly, captain of the Teranga Lions
Hmm.
of Senegal. It was a great time while you were here. This is football. This is football. There must be a reason why you came to Chelsea.
Hmm.
There has to have been a reason why you came to Chelsea. But if people ask why was it so short, I don't know if it's pace. Is it pace?
Mm,
Yes, pace, but for me, looking at his
Mm,
career form, I think
mm,
from Napoli, I
mm,
don't think Koulibaly is a bad defender. But my problem is
no.
because look at the way the EPL is being played, the intensity, the tenacity of the EPL. I think he's been exposed in the EPL. And like I said,
Mm,
are we ash to cashing on it, or just because of the money and FFP?
No, but you're not
We have.
telling me why. Abdullah, you're not telling me why you think he did not flourish. What do
I
you think?
think
Was it manager based? Was it player based? Basically, was it him? Was it system based? Was it?
okay for me. I think
mm,
it's two things for me with Kalidou Koulibaly. For
Mm,
me, it's two things. One, the pace of the Premier League killed Kalidou
mhm,
Koulibaly. And secondly, he is being exposed a lot in it. Because if you look at the Serie A, Kalidou Koulibaly is like someone who composes himself when he puts himself as a defender. He knows when to come out of tackles, he knows when to do those stuff. In EPL, it's being exposed where attacker knows how to kill
mhm.
Kalidou Koulibaly. And if you don't have pace in EPL and are not adapted to the tenacity and the intensity of the EPL, you will get killed. Thiago Silva get killed in his first match when he signed for Chelsea by Blue Eye Stop by West Bromwich Albion. They killed him. Lord, I rate Silva very highly. That guy get destroyed by that bomber called Robinson. He get killed. What did Silva did?
Callum
Silva,
Robinson.
Silva went back to the drawing board and said, Lord have mercy. Agbalagba being exposed. Grandpa being exposed. So he used his brain and he came back. Does Koulibaly use his brain? I'm not sure because
Mm,
he wanted the money and he moved to Saudi Arabia. That's the only two things I can say
yeah,
in
yeah.
terms of the Premier League intensity. He wasn't up to it. And secondly, he's been exposed as a defender. Your first move is slide tackle. You're gonna get killed. You're gonna get killed. You will get killed. It's EPL. You will get killed.
every striker wants you to slide tackle. Every striker. That's every
Mhm.
striker's dream, is that you slide tackle because you just go for the pump fakes. People like Zaha will eat around you, man. If you're a slide
Rashford
tackle
will
guy.
eat. Rashford will eat.
Rashford will eat, exactly. All these pump fake guys, all these pump fake guys, a bunch of pump fake guys out there, So again, but apart from that, he's a good defender.
Yeah.
He has the stature, he has the composure, he has the footwork. He can actually convey the ball with pace
Yeah.
from deep. He can run with the ball, but he has to be on that confident level where everybody like. Anyways, but I wish him the best. I wish him the best. I think this guy is gonna go far in his career. He's already gone far. But unfortunately, I don't think Chelsea was the right fit. I don't know. I don't know if Chelsea was the right fit because after 2 games, people were already calling him out. After the first 2 games, people say, come on.
Nana, our African brother.
Hey, Nana is here to defend Kalidou.
Kalidou, Obiora,
Yo,
Inamdi,
yo,
Ahmed
Khalid.
Koulibaly.
Nana is here to defend Kalidou. It's okay.
yo,
Kalidou.
yo.
Hey, is it true
yo.
that Kudus is coming to Chelsea?
I'm
Hey,
hearing the
oh
news.
God,
Yes,
we could
yes,
only hope and dream,
yes,
man. We
Black.
could only
If
hope
Mason
and dream.
Mount is officially announced, that's the replacement they're looking at.
We could only hope and dream, man.
Well, if you guys bring Kudus, then I'll start listening to you a little bit.
Yeah, man. I want to shout out the panel, obviously.
Shout out.
And
Shout out.
like and subscribe the people watching as well. We appreciate you. Yeah, this guy sucked, man. I'm so sorry. I hate to be that guy. Like the guy just was so disappointing.
Can somebody just leave? Somebody just leave a club in peace? My goodness.
You know what it is, yeah. Blue Eyes, I'm lying, man. I had such high hopes. You see, because when we lost Rudiger, you know, I just thought this is as secure as a replacement, right? In terms of replacing somebody, and the guy from day one just man, like no. And then you know, to his credit, right? He had a good game against Dortmund, the second leg. Actually, both legs he played well, right? And I thought maybe it was upticking. Do you guys remember when it was Koulibaly, and was it Fofana or Chalobah? I don't know. I think it was for one of the Dortmund games. And we're like, oh, maybe he doesn't. He's better when Thiago Silva's not there. You know, so I mean, I hear both sides, man. But for me, the guy's been so disappointing. Like, it was upsetting. And then Abdullahi finally, I think the nail in the coffin, man, was that Sims guy. Like, as
Oh my!
Is that the one for the one for Everton?
Man,
Was that the Everton guy? That guy roast. You know how you roast corn on the road, Nana. You know how to roast corn on the road. That's what you call roast.
Listen, man. Hey, Abdullahi. Listen. I believe this guy was a world-class center back. Let me say something. Let me not, try and dim his light. He was a world-class center back for a number of years.
Yeah.
I don't want to take anything away from that. Even I think a discussion has to be had about the Senegal AFCON, because there's star guys that turned up for that tournament, and before then they were cash money. Mane, Mendy, Koulibaly, and bro, ever since
what are you saying? After the AFCON, nobody has been the same.
no one's been the same. Blue Eyes, they haven't been the same. And,
are you serious? Let's look at that team.
I mean, they did win a trophy somewhere, lads.
But Nana, this is
that's a very important point. But let's look at that team. In the midfield was this kid from Leicester, my guy. And where has he been right now?
Palace?
Yeah, Nespai Mendy. That was my star guy last AFCON, but I haven't seen him in a while. You're right.
But
I'll give you that one.
Because this is me talking now. When Silva came, everybody was like, Silva is a pedestal, is a hierarchy. Silva got exposed in the COVID era where Robinson of West Ham killed him. We lost that match. I think it was 5-2. It wasn't 5-2 or 4-2. We lost that match.
Oh, yeah, and
Silva looked like a primary school student. He was destroyed, killed, manhandled. Oh, Koullibaly came in the first match. I was like, okay. Second match, this man was like, I was like, hold on, why are you sliding tackle? This is not Siga, man. Mr. Man, calm down. I calmed down. I was like, maybe he needs to adapt. We keep going. He's been he was destroyed. I was like, Mr. Koulibaly, use your brain. That was when I knew there's a problem with Koulibaly. He is a top defender.
I don't know though. I just think with Koulibaly, I think he came to the right league just at the wrong time. I think if it had come sooner, and he
Tom,
would
man.
have had maybe more years to have adapted and
Tom, you're
acclimatized
being
to the league.
nice, man. You're being nice,
How
man.
has this
You're
been
being nice.
nice? How has this been
You're
nice?
being
He was
nice,
linked to
bro.
every single top European
No, no, no.
club.
But Tom, man, yo, this season, I mean,
Oh no, I'm not
I
grading it
can,
off this
yeah, yeah,
season.
yeah,
I'm
100%.
just saying,
Yeah,
if he would have come maybe 4 or 5 years ago when he was linked to when they
mm.
had that rivalry, I guess, with Van Dijk at that sort of time for who was the better defender. If it maybe he'd have come at that sort of time and gone to a Chelsea or a Man United or somewhere like an Arsenal or something, I don't know, like he'd have gone somewhere and maybe had a couple more years where he could have adapted.
You,
Because he's only been here, is it? He's not even been here a season, has he?
no, this is
Yeah.
one season,
Literally just
though. Yeah,
one season. That's what I mean. So
And
if he
he
would have
signed
had
a
more
4 year
time,
contract. He signed a 4 year contract.
Abdullah, do you
yeah,
know
yeah,
the
yeah.
amount? Do you know the amount of goals? If you guys rewatch the goals we conceded, where this guy's just sliding, he's just sliding, like just sliding everywhere, just sliding. Even at the World Cup, this guy was sliding.
It's all
This
good.
guy was sliding, man. Nah, Koulibaly, I wish him the best. Abdullah, I'll leave it
Mm.
there. I wish him the best.
It's tough because Koullibaly is someone I rate very highly, but Lord have mercy. The amount of exposure we got with Koullibaly, Lord have mercy on Chelsea. Lord
Yeah,
have
but
mercy.
you've got better centre halves there now anyway.
Yeah,
You
but
covered. You
because Tom,
covered.
because my question is, I watched Koulibaly in Napoli and I watched
Mm-hmm.
him in Senegal. I'm like, this man is a composed centre back who can coordinate his defense
Mm-hmm.
and orchestrate the way he wants to play. But when he came to Chelsea, he got exposed by 17, 18, 19, 20 years old. I'm like, hold on a minute, Mr. Koulibaly, just get out.
They are like half his age though, really. If you and I know that's a bit cliche to say, but even with someone like Koulibaly, you're playing. And I know he's done it in the Champions League where you play against youngsters and stuff like it happens. But
Mhm.
when you think about someone like a Koulibaly,
Mhm.
when you have another aging high profile centre back next to you in someone like a Thiago Silva,
Mhm.
I don't think Koulibaly and Silva. I've not watched Chelsea week in week out, but I wouldn't like to think that that's a brilliant partnership. Either if you played them as a 2 or as a 3 with somebody else, because I think the third man's going to struggle, whether that's a Fofana or a Chalobah or whoever, because I just think they're going to have to do so much groundwork in terms of to cover these two players' arse when you get done on the counter attack, and
Mhm.
because obviously you haven't had Reece James with injuries and sufficient things like that as well. I mean, defensively, I'm not surprised that he's been a shambles really this season. You can say it for what it is: injuries and inconsistent players. It is what it is. But as I said to you, it would have been last year, wouldn't it? I think you got rid of Christensen, you got rid of a couple of centre halves, didn't you? And I was
Mhm.
thinking, like, you need to roll in at least 2, maybe even 3, like Christensen, Rudiger, like you had all, the players that had been on that, Champions League win with you that you dumped off, and you didn't really replace them with any quality, really. I mean, you've invested, in I guess a future player like a Wesley Fofana, and you can, I guess maybe see a future plan there, but unless you're going to rely your hat on someone like a Trevor Chalobah in the future, and you know players like that. I know you got is it Colwell from Brighton to come back as well? Like
Levi Colwill, yeah.
you have got some players like I say that are decent enough to play for Chelsea, but the problem is. You take the system that like Colwell were playing at Brighton, for example, and you put it into a Pochettino system. I don't know what way he's going to play or if he's going to adapt. But if he plays 4-2-3-1 like he did with Spurs, someone like a Colwell I think would be perfect, really. And the only problem is you've got to find the partnership that works with the players. And with you guys, like you can say, yeah, Thiago Silva's got mega experience and things like that, but the way the Premier League is now, it'll get ripped to shit. Let's be honest. If you get past Thiago Silva, you get a free run and goal. Let's not play stupid. Same with Koulibaly. You get past Koulibaly, you got a free run and goal. And most of the time this season, teams have scored past you, really. And
Mhm.
even when you think about it, even up the other end, you don't score enough goals to get you out of it either this season. So when you've had to summarise, when you've had the poor season that you've had, because you don't score enough goals, it doesn't bail you out in games when your defense has been so poor. And even we've used
Yeah, but
the
you're
theory
saying
around
this.
money.
You're saying this like this has been a long time problem. This is just because we're coming off a bad season. We're not talking
No,
about.
I'm not.
You understand what I
Where
mean?
have I said it's long term?
Sorry.
Where have I said it's long
No,
term?
no, but because the way you're saying it is, it doesn't look like there's a plan. You're saying this as if this is damage
You buy
done.
Koulibaly for 12 months and then you get rid of him.
Yeah, but still, we got rid of him at a good rate. Did you ask for how much we got rid of him at?
25 million,
God.
25
5
million
million.
euros when you
Exactly.
bought him for
Ask
like
me.
what 40.
Yeah, still, but look at depreciation value. Don't you do math? Talk about Kai Havertz.
But you
God.
still made a loss.
Hold on, no, but
Hold
look
on,
at Kai Havertz.
you're moving now to
Hold
Kai
on,
Havertz.
hold on.
Like
Let's do
we
math.
weren't about defenders, aren't we?
Yeah, okay, no, I'm just saying we still got rid of him for 23 million. We still got
Euros.
it still don't matter, man.
Euros. That's like
let
what?
me
That's
come
barely
to
even
Bullet.
15
It don't
million.
matter, man. It don't
Bullet,
matter. We got him off our books, bro.
Mr. Bullet, salam
And
alaikum to you, brother.
how much in salaries? Almost 300 grand.
Yeah.
Genius business. Genius business. What
So
are you
Bullet,
talking?
Oh God.
Our chairman, our African brother, daddy, grandpa, uncle, son, whatever you want to call him, Mr. Koulibaly has joined Saudi Arabia League Al Hilal on a 3-year deal, and Chelsea is gonna receive 25 million. Is it pounds or euro, whatever we call it, as a potential sales. It's official. It's a done deal.
First of all, hello everyone. Big up to
Bonjour,
everyone here.
bonjour.
Big up, big up.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I don't even know what to think about this sale, Abdullah, because like the amount of belief and confidence we had in Koulibaly because of the past years he played in Napoli. And I remember even at once, he was one of the most revered European defenders, at one point. And then the way it all ended within a matter
You
of
know,
a year.
sorry to call you. You know what makes me laugh? The what Blue I said about him. I will never forget that. When Koulibaly joined Chelsea, he started calling John Terry, Mr. John Terry. Can I take it?
No, but he did. He did. To be fair to all guys, he did. He did. He did. And the
That thing
funny thing
pissed
is,
me off. I said,
Abdullah.
why is this guy calling John Terry for what? Because why?
No, all guys, you have all the right to ask that question, because if you really think about it, for you to call John Terry and take his number, you cannot give up within 12 months.
And
Like
on top
literally,
of
you
that,
cannot
you actually recorded it, you planned it and recorded it. It was so tacky, man. Sorry, my bad.
Yes, he wanted to make a series out of it, I think. But yeah, unfortunately, the guy didn't suffice with us.
Guys,
I
that
don't know
was
if it's
just
the
for the
age.
PR, man. That was just for the PR.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know why are we mad at that.
Obviously. I'm not
Yes,
mad at
yes. No,
you.
but
Him.
we're not mad, Abdul. We're not mad. We're just discussing.
No, but you have no. It's not mad. It's like, why calling John Terry? Why putting it on camera? What is the big deal? Oh
It's for
boy,
the grams,
get it.
man. We're in the age of the grams. It's for the grams.
Yeah, but
These
you know
things
this
come
kind
from
of thing,
football.
man. You know that strategy: under promise, over deliver. Under
No,
promise,
Yes.
over deliver.
no.
It goes a long way in sales, man. It goes a long way.
Blue eyes, don't. You already made a good point. Don't turn that point around. Number one, this was a genius business move. Okay. Number two, he personally went for the money. This guy played. You're underestimating how much peanuts some of these Italian teams get
No. I'm
away
talking about the
with
video.
playing.
You're going too far. I'm talking about that video to John Terry. No, I'm not talking about no business move. I talked about the business already. What I'm talking about is that
Okay.
video clip he
Oh
took
yeah,
saying
it's
John
tacky,
Terry.
but it's for
Yeah,
the grams,
exactly.
man. It's for the
No, no,
grams.
Abdul, before Gule continue, Abdul, you know what Koulibaly did? It's like me in Africa now. Hey, let me call him my daddy. Hey, daddy, there's one bread and beans at the table. Can I take that bread, sir? When I knew that's what he's gonna take in the night when he come out from work. Hey, daddy, can I take that bread? So
I
yes,
can take the number.
I
Abdullah
respect my daddy.
it's for the
But
grams.
Abdul,
It's for the grams, man.
yeah,
It's for the
but Abdul,
grams.
even though you took that beans from the fridge, at least your dad will know that when he's coming back from work, he's
Mhm.
expecting for you to cook something. But
Yeah.
if you don't cook anything, then that's
What did
Koulibaly for you.
no, what did um Kalau, what's his name, Solomon Kalau, what did Solomon Kalau say? He said the first day he got into the Chelsea dressing room, he was asking Michael Ballack for a selfie because he was so awe. He was starstruck by the guy. He actually forgot he was going to be playing in the first team with this guy. They said Ballack was embarrassed that why are you asking me for a selfie? These things happen. What can we say?
No, but
Yes,
remember
and
though, yeah, but listen, what do you mean these things happen in terms of what? I don't get that point.
Like in
Mhm.
people sort of get starstruck, even despite the fact
Mm.
you're meant to be the same professional. You're meant to be playing in the same team. You're meant to be playing
Mm.
um, in the first 11 together. If there was the grams then, Solomon Kalou would have put it in the grams saying, I'm taking a selfie with Michael Ballack. He forgot he was playing, was his teammate.
No, but come on, man. Just anyways, I guess it's for the grounds, but man,
Yeah.
that was
Bullet
just
finish up with Koulibaly.
yes, yes. In terms of what Abdullah and guys are saying, we can dissect it in two ways. One is we as true Chelsea fans that admire John Terry and all the years he put in Chelsea. For you to call him, we expect at least for you to stay here and fight for your place and prove yourself that you're worthy of the shirt. We can dissect it in that way. And the other way is the ground way that Abdul is saying. So either way, I understand where they're coming from. But yeah, with Koulibaly, I mean, to be honest with you, he right now, I think when he realized how maybe he couldn't keep up with the Premier League's pace, and maybe I think the factor of age could come into place as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a smart move. Just like Ogayas used to say, it's a shrewd business because we know if he plays in that league, it's not going to be as quick. You don't even have to, play at 100%. If he plays at 80%, it will be better than probably 80% of the defenders there. People who watch the Saudi league know that, in terms of defense, they don't usually look at Europe or look at the rest of the world in terms of recruitment. This is why all the players that they've been buying recently for the last few years has been mainly midfielders and strikers. But now they're giving opportunities to defenders and goalkeepers from around the world. So all I can say is Abdullah, I can wish him luck. And, at least he can give back that shirt now. So
Fair enough. Abdul, quick. Kalidou Koulibaly to Saudi Arabia, Al Hilal. Chelsea is gonna receive 25 million pounds or euro, whatever we call it, currency. It's official. It's a done deal. 3-year deal, 2026. Saudi Arabia Professional League.
Yeah, so big up everyone. I hope you guys can hear me well. Actually, more than anything, really, I'm actually happy for this guy because I think he's going to pocket, some substantial amount of money. He's going to pocket some meat there. What we don't realize is this guy played for so long in Serie A when Serie A had no money. So I don't think he was receiving that exorbitant amount of wages while he was in Napoli. He was okay, more than the average person, but what he was earning was not commensurate with his talent then. So the only time he started earning big wages was when he came to Chelsea, and he's going to earn more now. So I think his prayers has been answered. Personally, I think if you ask him, he's going there for the money. And he deserves it, in my own opinion. In terms of his experience in Chelsea, I think what it is just a matter of having difficulty transitioning. Um, I don't think he's had a worse transitioning compared to a guy like Varane, because Varane, when he was at Madrid, I used to think he was the best defender France ever played for France. But he's been just okay, really, if you look at his career at Man United. So sometimes players find transition difficult, you know. And another thing, another side of it is Chelsea fans were a bit potent, were a bit what's the word? We're a bit poisonous in a way, the way we deal with some of our players. And if you look at when Kalidou came to Chelsea, there was nobody to scapegoat. There was nobody to abuse for them. Werner has left. Alonso has left. Who else were they were they regularly abusing then? So they had to find somebody else. They had to find another scapegoat. Yeah, he didn't. I wouldn't say he delivered to his full potential, but who did in this last season that we just went through? Being coached by Potter for like 8 months. What did any player gain from that? Nothing. So he was just, he found himself in a circumstance that was very difficult for all of our players. 90% of our players did not deliver this past season. So I wouldn't want to sort of exempt him from, put him aside and start raining all the raining all the abuse on him. So that's another side of it. He had a basic average season. So did the entire team. They had an average season. So, but me, I'm more happy that he's getting an opportunity to actually make some good money, which he deserves.
Fair enough. Vuitton, quick, Kalidou Koulibaly, Saudi Arabian League, 3-year deal, Al Hilal. Vuitton, you there? I'll come back to you later. Let me know when you're ready. Kiman, our African brother, Kalidou Koulibaly to Al Hilal, Saudi Arabian League. Give me your take on it.
Starting off, Assalamu alaikum everyone. Abdullahi, Abdul, Wilton, Mr. Blue Eyes,
Wa
Gullet,
alaikum
Tom,
salam.
how are you
Big up,
guys,
big up,
man?
Kiman.
Smash the
Big
like
up, big
button.
up,
Smash the like
big up.
button.
How are you guys doing, man? How are you guys doing?
Peace.
Hey, by the way, Blue Eyes, I got cut off that the other day, right? We still have to talk about that, but that's later, not now. Firstly,
About
about
what though?
this,
Sorry.
we'll talk about it later. Don't worry, man. Don't worry.
Okay, no
That
problem.
conversation will come, all right? But don't worry, my brother. We'll talk about it. Now about this Koulibaly thing. I've said this multiple times, right? Koulibaly has been hot property for the past 6-7 years. Everyone's been talking about him, saying he's that guy, whatnot. And when he came to Chelsea, I looked at it and said, okay, he's 31. Finally, he's coming to the Prem, and then he had this season. It was not a bad season. It was a bit below average, but I wouldn't say terrible for him. But what I don't like is a player of his name, of his talent, of his ability to leave the Prem, to leave the Prem at this note. It's not befitting of what he can do and what we've seen him do before. But looking at it from the positives, right? There's many negatives. For example, like we're losing a 31-year-old veteran. Whether you like it or not, he is experienced. He does bring a certain dimension to your defense. But when I look at it from the personal aspect of his own life, I think this is a wonderful move for him. Going to Saudi, like Mr. Abdul just said right now, getting that bag. Because at the end of the day, this football thing is a profession. Everyone, at the end of the day, if you're able to feed your kids, fund your lifestyle, you're a winner, right? You're a winner. Who complains? If you're a millionaire, would you complain? Hell no. So when you look at it, the Saudi thing, he's a Muslim. It's majority of Muslim people they're more comfortable with the Middle Eastern lifestyle. They feel, especially when it's in Saudi, they feel a bit more close. I'm personally very happy for him. Let him go make his bag. But my only issue is how he left. A lot of people, his name is a bit tainted, if you will, right? People say, oh, he was not that hype. People overhyped his name, and I really don't like that. But at the end of the day, wonderful move for him. I think we got a good offer. I hope he does well. I hope he does extremely well, and yeah, let him go make his bag.
Chimere, Kalidou Koulibaly to Saudi Arabian League, Al Hilal. Done deal.
I mean, there's really not much to say about it. I mean, he was a player that I guess doesn't really fit the direction Chelsea is going. They're trying to get younger. He's a guy with high wages that can get off the books. I think it's just a good fit for all parties. Chelsea did the smart thing by moving him on to a place where he can just play football, get paid, just enjoy his football, and he doesn't really fit the timeline of where Chelsea is going. So I think it's a good move for all parties, and I hope at this point all you can hope is that he enjoys his football, and he gets paid and And then this move will free up, guys like, what's this guy you guys got from Brighton? That came from Brighton. What's his name again?
Levi Colwell.
Yeah, Cole. That will free him up to get more time because he plays on the left. That he's a left center back, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that'll free him up to get more time because he looks like a good player, and you still have the what's this guy Fofana, Bashi, the other one, Basheli. So you have good young defenders. Thiago Silva is still there for experience, so Koulibaly's not really needed. So I mean, it's just a good move for all parties. Nothing really much to dissect.
Fair enough. Let me quickly read the chat, then we'll go to the next one. SSB said hello. Hi, SSB. SSB said, wow, Uncle Koullibaly is gone from EPL. No comment. SSB said, NK, how old is Koulibaly really? Not the age of his passport. Stop.
Okay.
How old
No,
is he?
it's a very interesting conversation. I love
said
that type
it's
of stuff.
32, but SSB said, SSB Koulibaly is over 35. Oh, Lord have mercy. SSB, you are sick in the head. Abdul said, SSB, Koulibaly was born in France. Red Devil Studio, we will come back to this one later on. Abdul also said, Abdul, I know, I'm just messing with Chelsea fans. And SSB continued by saying, I'm being honest, Abdullah. I still think he had a couple years left at the top level to play. Maybe more players will go to Saudi. We'll see. Potentially, yes, but we'll see. So, Blois, let me come to you. It's done, it's medical, it's official, it's a done deal. I think it will be announced tomorrow morning, latest Tuesday. Nicolas Jackson, officially Chelsea player. Give me your take.
Yeah, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. Listen, without trying to repeat myself, I don't know much about this guy, but from the little that I have seen, I like what I see, man. But for me, right, I always get excited until you play 3 games in the EPL. Remember João Felix? I even gave him a name.
Yep.
And then 2 games later, I'm like, what the hell is this, man? Raheem Sterling, the same thing. So I don't want to get caught up in that illusion anymore. But with this guy, with what I see a player that can attack and can potentially defend too. And I know maybe saying that might limit his abilities, but I think he's a two-way player for me. This is a perfect two-way player that, if coached properly, can be the guy.
But the fans are kind of angry because the fans are saying, why do we give him a 9-year contract, 2031? Lord have mercy. Child.
Yeah, but that's okay. That's okay. He's 21 now. That's okay.
He's 22.
Okay. He signed it. Listen.
How many years? How many years?
9 years.
Did he sign it?
Locked up, don't let me out.
Is this signed?
Yeah, he signed it already. It will be official tomorrow or Tuesday.
He signed it. If he didn't sign it, then that's one thing. If he was forced to sign it, that's another thing. Well, he signed it. They give you time to go digest, read it, review it, sit with your legal team, sit with your agency, sit with your family. And then you now have to have that meeting with yourself. Me Inc. Remember that meeting? Me Inc.
Damn.
So again, though, for this guy, I see somebody like with his profile, for what I've seen so far, I think he could work, but I'm just sick and tired of being disappointed. That's why.
Fair enough. I got you.
Yeah, that's
fair
all.
Enough.
Yeah, so welcome, man. Welcome.
Good medical done. It will be official tomorrow, latest Tuesday. Nicolas Jackson will officially be a Chelsea player. Give me your take, brother.
It's an interesting signing. And the reason why I say it's interesting, Abdullah, is because all we've seen from this guy, I think all that the world have seen from this guy, the European world, is I think 6 months or so of football. This guy was supposed to sign for Bournemouth, and then last minute he had a hip injury.
He had a rib injury.
Yeah, hip injury. And then, he couldn't make it. And then all of a sudden he had an operation 2 weeks, I think, or 3 weeks after that deal, didn't go through. And all of a sudden he was banging goals. So, maybe I think the way I looked at it is I think Chelsea were trying to strike when the iron is hot. Because there is no other explanation for me for us to get this player. He scored what I think 13 or 14 league goals.
Yeah, 13 goals. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think he was averaging, was it a goal every match and a half or so, something like that. So yeah, I think they tried to be smart about it, and I think he's very keen to come as well. And we do need players, just like Ogai said, that can operate in different, well, I wouldn't say positions, but I would say different pockets, especially in the midfield and attack, right? Because we always had a problem with transition, especially with our team. So yeah, I think it's a good piece of business, but I think it might not be. I think you guys will agree as well. I don't think it will be our priority striker, our top striker. But I think for his age, I think he's 22. So if he's training with Nkunku and whoever else comes in as a striker, I think he will naturally, step up his game, because you heard what Nkunku said. Like, this guy has an elite mentality. You want to be the first one in training, and you want to be the last one to leave. And I think that's what we need in our club. We don't have elite mentalities no more. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a good piece of business, and let's see what he can bring us. But I'm not going to keep my hopes up.
Fair enough. Hey man, Nicolas Jackson, medical done, sealed. Just waiting for the announcement from the club.
Yeah, listen, man, it's an exciting time. I always say with Chelsea, you can't go wrong if you go black. Mikba, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to lie. I've told you Abdullah this before. I have no idea who this guy is, and I'm not going to watch YouTube compilations because I don't believe in music behind a football player. But
Keyman, that's a racist comment.
No, listen, music. No, I said music behind football players. I don't like it, man. I don't like it. It makes anyone look good.
Wake me up inside. Wake me up inside.
No, man, it's a 5-minute comp, and 3 minutes of it is just back passes. I don't like. I don't know what's the point, but listen, is there potential? Yes. Listening from other people on this panel, and a bunch of looking at opinions online coming from La Liga. Well, it's 35 mil. It's not that big of a deal. My only issue is what's with these life sentences, man. What's with these Alcatraz contracts? I don't get it. How many years is Nkunku on? 6, 7?
In the Nkunku is on 8 years.
8. Oh my god. So listen, man. I don't have an issue with it. I don't have any problem with it. My only concern, and I've said this before, is this an actual signing, or is it just like how Gullit said, the way they're hitting the iron on its hot stats, like data driven signing? That's my only issue. But hey, 35 mil, it's not that big of a deal. We need this type of elite mentality. I'm tired of Fortnite and TikTok. I'm tired of that nonsense. Let's get back to football. Let's get back to the basics, huh? Are we going to sign a striker? I don't think so. Could this guy be leading our line next season? Very big possibility. But hey, man, Mikba, you can never go wrong with black.
Abdul is a done deal. Medical done everything. Just waiting for the club confirmation to announce him. Nicolas Jackson. Abdul, go ahead, brother.
Yeah. Thanks, Abdullah. The first thing I want to say is when you guys say you don't know anything about a player, I'm wondering, like, go do your research, go find out.
No,
I mean, this is hold on.
Sorry.
Because this is a football community, and there are people who come here just to learn or listen in just to learn. So if people say they don't know about a player, it's part of your responsibility to go do your research. I'm not saying know everything about him, know his left leg, his right leg, and everything.
My responsibility is coming to the blue studio.
No, let him finish.
I come to the blue studio to get my news.
Oh, okay, that's fine then. But I just don't know. Like when people say they don't know.
Mr. Abdul, what I meant was, I said I'm not going to act as if I know who this guy is. Yes, I can go and look at research and look him up, but I'm not going to act as if I've always known him. I've always watched him. I've looked at his stats. I've looked at him since birth. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to say that, and that's being dishonest.
I understand that, but you still don't have to give us a blank sheet and say I don't know anything about this guy. Like I said the other time when we were discussing him, I said I've watched two 90 minutes game about this guy, and this is
But
what
it
I
still
see him
doesn't mean
do.
you know
And
anything about him. It still doesn't mean you know anything
Well,
about him.
let Abdul finish.
nobody can know everything about everything. Okay, but what I'm saying is, I said to you guys that I've watched this guy in two 90 minutes game, and this is what I see. Okay, because I never knew anything about him as well until Chelsea wanted him. And it doesn't really take much to watch a 90 minutes game. You have the browser up on your machine, you watch it 10 minutes, you go and do something else, you go somewhere, come back, watch another 15 minutes. Before the Blue Studio, you watch 20, another 15 minutes. So it doesn't really take much to
Yeah,
watch.
I've watched him. I'll go Abdul. I've watched him against
I
Benin.
don't have that
Yeah, I
patience.
saw that game.
Sorry, I
Okay.
don't have that patience. Sorry, man. I
Well,
appreciate
if you
the
don't
advice, but guy, I cannot, man.
if you don't have that patience, well, I just don't know why we have to come here and say we don't know anything
I can
about this guy.
only
So
I
zero.
those. That's why I love those 3 minute, 5 minute comps on YouTube.
No, I
Well, I
think
Those
mean,
things.
to me, anyway. Um,
Give me those
the
digests.
reality is only Boli Vivel can really tell us why they signed this guy. But from what I've seen, he has ability, he has potential, but he's very young. Um, he'll be very good if he's a direct replacement for a top striker. So let's say, for example, we have number one striker Victor Osimhen or Nkunku. Then this guy will be a very good backup for them. He has. We cannot. I don't think he's a player we can. In my own opinion, we can't rely on him, but he can deliver, and he's a good buy for that fees. I think 30 million euros or 30 million pounds. I would have gone for him because we never know, he might turn out to be an Osime or Nkunku in the next 3 4 years, and then they will start telling you to bring 150 million stuff, or 100 and something or 100 and something, whatever.
Tayo,
So,
relax. Tayo, relax. Tayo,
so,
relax.
so, um, I think he has a very good, potential in terms of the, in terms of the eight,
Tayo, big up, man. Big up, Tayo.
in terms of the 8 year contract.
Mm-hmm.
If I was 22 and a top club offers me an 8 year
Abdul is
contract,
not 8 years, it's 9 years. It's 9 years.
no,
20,
I'm just
2021.
saying, okay, 9 years, 8 years, 9 years contract. If I was 22 and an elite club offers me 8 9 year contract, that's me secured for the rest of my footballing career. All I have to, because legally they are mandated to pay out that 8 year or 9 year contract no matter what happens. So that's my football career sorted. All I have to do is focus on my football now. So we can sort of explain it or look at it from different angles. And another thing is, for 30 million, if we don't believe in him, I don't think he'll be very difficult for us to sell on. So that's how I look at it. And another thing is, maybe on the mischievous side, I think these guys just want to invest in a bunch of players and then focus on other teams when it comes to the club, and not buy any other player till they hand over the club to Roman Abramovich in 10 years, or they hand over the club to somebody else in 10 years and make a lot of profit then. So only Vivel and Boli can really tell us why they're, going through such protocol in terms of player contract. But I have a lot of positive to say about this guy.
Fair
Um,
enough.
I watched him and I was very impressed with the game he played at the new camp. They were two up front. And it reminded me of those times when we go to the new camp with a Drogba. Do you know how Drogba used to walk then? His walk rate then, where he's closing down opponent, he's chasing after every lost cause. So he sort of like had that kind of mentality. And to be honest, if he's able to be well coached, managed, and taught, and is very professional, I think he can really succeed as a top center forward in Europe. But it's really not that straightforward most of the time. But if he has the right attitude and the right mentality, I think he will be a success. But only time will tell. We can only watch and see. But I think for that price, for that age, I think it's a good acquisition.
Fair enough. Agachimere, Nicolas Jackson, pending club announcement is a done deal. Medical done. Just waiting on club announcement, and based on the report, tomorrow morning or possibly on Tuesday, it will be announced by the Chelsea Football Club official club announcement.
I mean, I watched a little bit of him here and there. Um, from what I see, he looks like a guy. From what I see though, when I watch him, he doesn't look like an out and out striker. He looks like
Ye-
a
Chimere,
you
that's
know
my
he,
fear. He looked like an inside forward for me, not a number
no, he
nine.
looks like he's not. It's like I wouldn't say he's an inside forward, but I wouldn't call him an out and out striker. You know what I mean? Like it's hard to
He
explain.
reminds like the way he plays, guys. He reminds me like you remember when we signed Solomon Kalou in
Yes,
that weird position that he was playing in, which was not a striker, which was not an inside forward, but somehow, some way he played as a forward. It was a bit strange, but he reminds me of him a little bit.
And like, but from what I see from him, you know, so this is the positives because this thing we have to look at, because the season before at Villarreal, they're saying he was missing, but you look at this season, he was scoring, he was one of the best finishers. So that tells you that's a guy that's willing to put in the work to improve on his weaknesses, which was his finishing. So that's a positive. That's one thing. And another thing is he's young. So that's another thing. He'll only get better and he's showing you that he's willing to work on his weaknesses. And he has technical ability too. That's something that you can't really teach. You can get better at it, but that's something that's God given. So he has technical ability. The only weakness I really see in him as a player is his heading. Really, he's not really a good header, but
he can
those are things
improve
that
on
can,
that. He just 22.
those are things that can be improved on because Rashford this year Rashford used to be bad at heading the ball. This year he scored like 5 goals from heading. So those are things that can be worked on with training. You don't have to be tall to be a good header of the ball. You can those things that can be worked on. So I think for 30 mil, I mean, this is a guy that's a young striker, has potential to get better, has proven that he improves on his weaknesses. It's a guy that fits the timeline of the squad. I mean, to be honest with you, man, I don't really see the issue with this signing. I don't really see it as a big deal. If like I think Abdul is right though. If the plan is for him to be the full time guy, I don't think it's the right idea because I don't think he's ready. But if you bring him in slowly, rotate him with Nkunku or somebody else, and let him come in, I think he can score maybe 10 goals this season in the league. He can. Then you have Nkunku chip in with goals. You can go some other places. And then maybe in a couple of years he might end up being, maybe like a world class striker. But you have to develop him properly. I wouldn't rely on him week in, week out. He's still young. He still has weaknesses. He still has areas to, refine in his game. But you never know. Like it's good that you guys called him now because, like Abdul said, maybe in a couple of years now, maybe when he's banging in like 20 goals a season in Villarreal or something, they would have said give us a 100 mil minimum. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. So for me, I don't really see this as a negative. I don't see this deal as a bad thing. I mean, he's a young player. He can only get better from here. He's shown that he's willing to work on his game. He's good out of possession. He works hard. He has technical ability. Like I said, the only weakness I see is him in the air. But I mean, that can be worked on. Like I said, so if you rotate him in with another striker his first season, I think he'll be all right. But if the plan is to make him the full time striker, I think he'll struggle. That's just what I see.
Fair enough. Vuitton, are you there now?
Yo, what's up?
Yeah, you watch La Liga matches a lot. Give me your take on Nicolas Jackson. Pending the club official announcement, he's done his medical, everything is done.
I mean, great signing for Chelsea, I guess. I don't really know much about this guy, honestly, Abdullahi. I mean, to be honest with you, Abdullahi, all we gonna do is just speculate at the moment. But I mean, if the Chelsea scout are telling me this guy is supposed to be like this amazing player, so he might turn out to be. Because I don't want to just speculate on the future because we don't know what this guy's gonna bring. We don't know what's gonna happen. But I can say he's a good player. From what I saw on the Twitter highlights from certain Chelsea pages,
But you
that
watch La Liga matches, is from so he played Villarreal, so you could be able to say more because I think he played against Madrid, Barcelona, and some
no,
couple of
because
teams in the
this
league.
is because this season he barely played. He barely played this season. I think he only played like about 12 or 10 matches in La Liga this season.
No, he played like 20. He played like 20 something.
20 matches.
26 matches, he scored
Yeah.
13 goals.
Okay, but the thing about Nicolas Jackson, right? Like the game against Real Madrid, right? Obviously, it was the craziest show. But I mean, he didn't really do that well to me in the game. But I mean, that could just be one thing off because you don't want to judge player based on one of that game. But I mean, he did have a good season last season based on his stats and everything. But personally, I like I said, I don't. I he did play. He did play 2 minutes against Brazil in the Senegal game. He did come on, and I remember he got that yellow card. But I guess he's the decent player. That's all I can say because he's only what 21, 21,
22, 22. We just got
yeah,
22.
22. So he's still a very young player. Maybe this guy might be the next Drogba because like I said, man, Chelsea do well with African players, man. You guys do, man. So maybe this guy could be the next Drogba for you guys, man. I don't know.
Oh, built to relax.
No,
Stop.
he can. Why not? Like he could be the next good striker that Chelsea been missing because these guys have been so unlucky with strikers in the last what 6, 7 years or so
No,
since.
but course, no, like Chelsea strikers. If you want to be a Chelsea striker, you need to be like a Drogba or Costa. You need to be, you need to have, you need to be what they call in America, like call it having dog in you. You need to be a rough rider. You know what I mean? You have to Costa and the guys like Torres, Warner. They're not, they don't have that dog
Dog
in
in
them.
them.
They didn't have it in them. Like Costa and Drogba did. Like they work hard for the team. They're ruthless. You know what I mean? Like to be a Chelsea
Morata,
striker, you got to have that in you. Like
Morata was just an offside merchant.
No, but this guy, see, this guy can develop that, right? And he can, and the reason I say he can develop that, or maybe he can't, but the reason I say he can develop that is he knows how to hold the ball. So when you can hold the ball, right, it's easy for you to get irritated because people are always going to want to take the ball from you. So you understand? So someone a striker that knows how to hold the ball. If you notice, they're very hot tempered because they don't like getting disturbed in their space. All these guys that have ball control that play up front. So, and you can tell this guy has close control. I just want to see how Poch makes it work.
Fair enough. Tosin, how you doing, brother?
Tosino.
Oga Tosin. So give me your take on Nicolas Jackson.
Yo, 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 yo.
Pending the club confirmation is a done deal. Medical has been done. Potentially tomorrow or Tuesday, Nicolas Jackson will be a Chelsea player.
I mean, good for him, How long is his contract till?
9 years.
Man. No opportunity for a raise in 9 years. Can he?
Man, at home, man. No, the guy is home, man.
No, man, that's crazy. That's nuts.
It's
No,
crazy,
no,
man.
no, 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 no. But Tosin, don't you think there will be incentive within those 9-year contracts? Like if you score 20 goals,
But what if he
we're gonna
doesn't?
be.
What if
No,
he
no,
doesn't get the
hold on,
playing time?
hold on. We're going to be reviewing it after every 2 seasons and things like that. It's not just going to be like a flat 9-year contract. I mean, this is 2023. I'm sure he's got lawyers.
For his sake, I hope so. I hope athletes get their money.
Man at home, man. Man at home. No, he's home. We welcome you, man. When you come
Shout out Todd, man. Bring the American judicial system. Locking up young brother.
you don't come to stand no. Tosin, the guy is home.
Lord have mercy. Lord.
But
We call it the home contract.
Chai. No problem. So now let's talk.
But wait, you
I've
didn't even
seen-
let me finish.
Finish
I
up,
just said
finish
one
up.
thing.
I thought you finished up. My bad. Finish
Oh,
up. What I do?
I mean, yeah, he's a good player from what I've seen, from the little I've seen. But the Villarreal system
Mm-hmm.
has handed out a lot of careers. You know, anyone who's actually followed La Liga, you'll know that Villarreal typically play 4-4-2. They've been playing that since the Pellegrini years in like the early the 2000s. So those two strikers up top, they eat. They always eat in the Villarreal system, and they have that style of play. So if you there was a player Luciano Vieto back in the day
Mm-hmm.
who got a move to Atletico Madrid, flopped. I remember Ikechukwu Uche used to play in that front
I
two
remember.
as
I
Yes,
well.
he
remember.
did. Yes, he did.
Yes, he
Went
did.
crazy.
Yeah.
Um, who else? Roberto Soldado used
Oh
to go
Lord have
crazy
mercy.
in that system.
Uh,
Carlos
Moreno,
Baca
Moreno,
used to
even
go
Moreno.
crazy in that system.
Yeah.
Toko Akambi from Cameroon, remember him? Went crazy in that system. Gerard Moreno, Paco
Moreno, that was,
Alcacer.
yeah, man.
I'm just saying, a lot of players do well in the Villarreal system because it's an offensive system. The way they play, Villarreal are very offensive. Vilton can attest to this. The way Villarreal just play, they have a footballing style culture. So Nicolas Jackson, it's going to be interesting because with his talent, though, compared to the other players I mentioned, I think he does have a better base in terms of his qualities. Like his qualities suit the Premier League. He's tall, he's mobile, he runs the channels aggressively.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but
Is that just pace and power?
I'm telling
yeah,
you. I'm telling you.
Man, African
yeah,
players will never get rid of
Pace
that,
and
man.
power with close control. Pace and power with close control. I'll take it.
yeah. But what the thing is, will he be able to adapt? Will he just be running into dead ends in the Premier League? Running into cul-de-sacs or whatever they call it. So it'll be interesting to see. Me personally, I don't think he'll start for you guys. I don't see it.
Are you
I don't
serious?
think he'll start for you guys. I don't see it. I don't know what will happen, but I don't see him being a starter with you guys. I think he'll be someone who'll be rotating in and out in the team, especially in that first season, because he'll need to acclimate, right? Get used to things. So, but it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how he does. But yeah, we don't know much about him. Nobody really knows much about him.
yeah,
It's
no.
6 months, 30% goal conversion rate. I think it was at 30%. That's not sustainable. That just means you went on a really hot streak in terms of finishing. If your goal conversion rate is 30%, that's way too high. So
Yeah, but that's not as a striker. Is that as a striker? What position?
Tosin,
that's
He
striker,
plays.
Tosin,
right?
does he
That's
He
striker.
plays
As a
striker.
striker, as a striker.
Tosin,
That's
does
striker.
he remind you of Isaac?
Uh,
Nah,
not really. Not really. No,
Isaac,
Isaac.
I've watched that guy. That guy is predatory.
no. Isak is another level, bro.
He's a predatorial striker. I've watched that kid. I say, you know what? Let me actually watch this. I watched him in World Cup. I saw him in his other team, but I watched him in Newcastle. That kid, he's a mathematician striker, man.
But
He
see,
still got
Yeah, very good.
he has
He's
a lot
very
of
but
work
good.
to do. Yeah, but yeah. Go
yeah,
ahead.
but
Sorry,
Blue
They
Eyes,
Justin.
both are very tall. They both are very tall. They both are very pacey. So that's what I was saying.
but this is why conversion rate is a very weird thing because the season before, like Isaac moved to Newcastle, his conversion rate was terrible in La Liga, and now he comes to the Premier League, and he's pumping in goals left and right. Like,
Because
it's
nobody's
weird. Like,
parking the bus
No, but
against Newcastle.
no, but
Nobody's
to be
parking the bus
fair,
against
to be
Newcastle.
fair, Isak, in 2020-2021 season with Sociedad, when he was playing with Odegaard, he scored 17 non-penalty goals in La Liga. 17. That was the highest by a player his age since Aguero at Atletico Madrid in like 2008. So Isak always had that. He was always an inconsistent finisher, but the talent was always there. He scored 17 La Liga goals. None of them were penalties.
yeah,
So
but that's the story. That's what we have to figure out
Yeah,
about what you call it
yeah, he's a
about
guy that
Jackson.
can score him. He's not. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
That's what we have to figure out about Nicolas Jackson and see how prolific it could be. Let's see.
Because remember
nah,
Nunes went on a remember
Let me
Nunes
go to
last
chat.
year.
Tayo said Abdul is an headmaster. Blue Studio member needs No comment. Stop. Stop.
Wait, by the way,
It's
Blue
the
Eyes.
preface.
Even
Preface.
Steve said it's coming in 15 minutes, no
Blue
problem.
Eyes. Can I
Yeah.
ask you
Bole
guys
is
a question?
cooking. Let me get the shot Victor. Hold on. Bole is cooking. Tayo said, Abdul, what are Nicolas Jackson attributes? Quick answer, Abdul.
He's what? His best attributes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know what you mean by his best attributes, but this guy has talent. From the game I saw, he's very good. It's difficult to say he's very good at this, he's very good at that, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But his style of play
Mm-hmm.
looks good. He's a player that I think can deliver. Obviously, you can say a player is strong, but then being strong in La Liga might be different from being strong in the Premier League.
Fair enough.
No,
Um,
he's similar to Tammy. He's similar to
sorry?
Tammy. No, I was answering the question the guy asked.
This Dakar Kami nickname is going to stick, isn't it? Huh?
Tayo also said, is it similar to Tammy or Aland?
Not
Oh,
Tammy, definitely Tammy.
no,
I'm not
no.
talking about. I'm talking about in terms of play style, not.
I wouldn't even say. No. Like I said the other time, he reminds me of Kudus, the way Kudus plays ball. You know the way Kudus plays ball, where
Yeah.
you give him the ball, he has enough skills to guard the ball, to hold the ball, to do something progressive with the ball, you know. So he reminds me of Kudus. But then I watched where he played against Barcelona, and he kind of reminded me of Drogba. But like Tosin said, I think the key to him being successful now is, can he play like a lone striker, or does he have to play? Does he has to play like a double strike with another striker or another center forward? I think that is what will distinguish him. If he can play, if he's able to successfully play as a lone striker, for sure, he's going to be successful. But if he needs another center forward, then it might be difficult, depends on how they use him. But I've watched him play in those two scenarios. I think it was a game against Espanyol. He was actually playing as a lone striker. Tosin, I think they played 4-2-3-1 in that game, or they played 4-3-3, and he was very good at running the channels. So I think he can play like a lone striker, but these things are very difficult to assess for a young striker. But he has the natural attributes we're expecting from him. He's strong. He can host the ball. I've not seen pace. I cannot attach pace with the ball, so I cannot describe him to say he's like the winger in AC Milan. What's his name?
Rafael Leao.
Portuguese. I cannot say he's a Rafael Leao. I've not seen that. I have not seen that. I've not seen him with that kind of ability with the
He's really
two games.
fast. He's really fast.
Sorry.
He's really fast.
But does
Is it
he
with the
take on
ball?
players like Leao? He doesn't take on players like Leao, does he?
I've not seen that. I've not seen that in
Yeah.
this game.
Nah, he
I've
does.
not
He
seen that.
does.
No, he can
He has
dribble.
good dribbling for
He's just a
that
dribbler.
height. His dribbling is pretty good for his height.
No. I'm not saying he cannot dribble. I'm saying somebody said is he pacey. I've not seen him with that kind of layout space with the ball. I don't know how quick he you know when Drogba is really determined to play, and he's able to. It looks like every part of his body is a magnet. Maybe when the ball comes to his chest, he can chest it. When he can hold the ball with one side of his, them kind of striker. That I saw that a little bit in him, but like somebody actually said, which he didn't. They said like Solomon Kalou, he has that attribute as well. So you can say he's a Solomon Kalou to an extent, but a bit taller and a little bit stronger. So all this actually, he has a lot of positive, But I think a lot will depend on him and how he's managed, how he's coached, how he's trained, and his attitude. If he can really settle down into the environment and just focus on his football, I think he would come out very positive. He will come out like very successful. And I think we're only being skeptical to some extent now because we're actually Chelsea and this is our mentality. I think if that transfer would have been to a Newcastle, we'll be reading a little bit more about him. Like, oh, they found a gem. Oh, Newcastle have done it again. They've added to a squad. How did they find him and all this stuff? So I think all this reservation is mainly because to some extent we are actually Chelsea fans. But let's watch what Poch will do.
We'll see.
Let's
Let
see
me
what.
quickly go the shot.
Another thing I wanted to say is when Poch was managing Spurs, and Spurs were like top 1, 2, 3. Then who was playing their front three?
It was
Was it Son
Dele,
Kane
it was
and
Dele Alli, Lucas Moura,
No, it
Ungmin
was
Son, and Harry
no
Kane.
three?
it was
Not the
Delhi.
three.
It was Delhi. No, he
It
played
was
with her
it was Dele Alli, Son, and
and Kane.
Kane. Yeah, if we play a formation like that, he can play that Dele Alli kind of role. If I'm to mirror that team with this Jackson, I would say he's the Dele Alli. So the way Dele Alli he is very comfortable with the ball. He can do this and do that. He can score goals. He is not too exceptional, but he's very good. With a lot of ability. I'll put him
So
in that.
Oga Abdul, basically he's a fox in the box that don't belong in the box.
Thank you very much. He can play that. I think he can play that kind of role.
Fair enough.
But
Let me quickly go the shot.
But it depends on him to some extent and the manager. If he settles down and the manager puts a lot of belief in him, I think his trajectory is very good.
Fair enough. So Tayo said, let me see. Tayo said Chimere did his homework. Headmaster is going to make him class captain. Relax. Stop. Relax. So how many games did he start? 16 start in 38, not bad. Featured in 26 and started 16. Okay. Bole is ruthless, man. Tayo said that. So FB said, it's crazy the fact you are getting rid of higher VAT amount in the opposition to relax. We'll get to that man, we'll get there. Your midfielder as of now is left to Enzo and Connor. Lord have mercy on us.
Yeah.
Blue Eyes, they have to let you land. They have to let you land. Ball. Okay.
No, that midfield, man.
Justin, what is this Jackson kid ceiling? Okay. Justin, do you guys want Service Simon back? And Service Simon, low good. Abdul, is he a Vardy? I don't think he's a Jamie Vardy.
No. I didn't see anything. We're talking about Jamie Vardy at his best. I didn't see anything to compare him to Vardy.
Now let's debate
there's no
this.
Vardy in him.
I'll go ahead on this. Go ahead. Let's debate this. Rank them based on their peak. You can use accolade. You can use the way they play. You can also use their commanding when it comes to the commanding of their boxes and everything. Rank them from number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. Give them a ranking. Who is the number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4? Based on you can add accolade. You can know what they've won, the way they command the areas and everything.
Okay, so there's no exact accolade. I can
you
use
can put accolade if it depends on how you wanna rank them. You can add accolade.
Yeah, you can use FIFA Team of the Year and all that stuff like that.
Yeah, but it won't be fair, Chimber. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
it's Yeah, it's more like we're looking at personality, we're looking at aggression, we're looking at being a role model, a leader. We're looking at if you come clutch when your team needs you the most. It's a bit tricky, but if I'll try and keep my Chelsea bias aside for this one. For me personally, it's a toss up between number one. I would say it's a toss up between Company and John Terry in terms of all the things that I just mentioned. Right, the way they understood the system of every the coach that they played under, especially John Terry and Company as well, and in terms of how I've heard even Pep mention this about Company, saying that sometimes when I was trying to bring new ideas, into the team and for them to get used to, Company will actually ask the most questions, and he will be more eager to the point that sometimes he will keep asking the questions a week later, or 2 weeks later, or 3 weeks later. So that shows you that he thrives under responsibility, and yes, I would say in terms of positional awareness, positional intelligence, I have never seen positional awareness like John Terry's before, personally, right? But in terms of overall and how you can adapt to every system and not only thrive but be like a second coach in the pitch, I think I would give that to Company. So for me, I would say as an overall, I would go for Company. I'll put him first. I'll put John Terry second. I'll put Vidic third, because Vidic was a dog, right? Vidic was a Serbian pit bull, to be honest with you. This guy is if he doesn't get the ball, he will get your leg. There is no another option. So his tenacity and the way he came into the league when there was a competition for that position that he was playing in, and how he cemented himself in Ferguson's team, that was something that is very admirable to see. So yeah, for me it will be number one will be Company in terms of overall. Second will be John Terry. Third will be Vidic, and fourth will be Van Dijk, because to be honest with Van Dijk, the only system that he thrived under, for me, was only under Klopp. And the reason why I would say that helped him comparing to the other three is the fact that in terms of defending, Liverpool always defended from the midfield. So the midfield were carrying, let's say, 20 to 30% of the load in terms of defending, right? So it made Van Dijk's game easier if you compare him to the other three. Because the other three, in their eras, especially when Company, was up and coming, it was all about man-to-man marking. There was no zonal bullshit. Everything was, this is your man. You live with him, you breathe with him, you eat with him, you die with him for this 90 minutes. So yeah, I'll put it that way. So for me, Company is number one. John Terry is number two. Vidic is number three, and Van Dijk is number four. Because in Holland, he's not the same Van Dijk for me. So
fair enough. Tosin, rank them 1, 2, 3, 4. You can use accolade, you can use their leadership, you can use anything. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh man, it's hard. Prime for prime. If we're going prime for prime, I know that Company is last. If we're talking prime, everyone at their prime, at their absolute prime, I think Company is last. And then the three, I don't know how to rank the other three. It's really hard. Gotta understand, Vidic doesn't Vidic have the most clean sheets? Him and Rio over a full season, 2010, 2011. He won a PFA Player of the Year, I think.
Mm.
Van Dijk also won a PFA Player of the Year at his prime, or did he? Yeah, he was close to even a Ballon d'Or level in his prime. John Terry as well, arguably the greatest Chelsea player ever. Arguably, I didn't say he was, just said arguably. So that's just hard, man. That's hard. Man, 4 I'd put Company. 3 I would go Vidic, but it's man, the Vidic was amazing. 2 I would go Van Dyke, and then 1 I would go John Terry. That's how I'd rank them.
Blue Eyes, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can use accolade, their prime, their man to man marking, and their leadership skills. Anything you feel like.
This is very, this is very, this is very, this is very interesting. Yeah, I'm gonna go John Terry number one, not because of anything, but just because of ability to evade danger with so much calm and peace. I've never seen that kind of energy for somebody playing in that position. Like when there's danger is when he activates what I call his tiptoe mode. He's just tiptoeing all over the place. The way he's able to apply himself to dangerous moments is, I think, second to none. So for me, man, John Terry, like I never seen. John Terry number one for me. Number two, this is very interesting. It came for me. It comes down to Vidic versus Company. You understand? Company, because Company came with the entire that leadership. Like Company is actually, I think he championed the beginning of an era for Man City as a captain. Understand? So I think he makes it into the Man City Hall of Fame with what he has done for the club as a player, as a leader, as a name it. You understand? But Vidic, yo, Vidic was one of the coldest, man. The art, if you want to talk about the art of defending, ladies and gentlemen, go and watch Vidic, man. If you want to talk about the art of defending, the madness, the survival tactic,
Nemanja Vidic.
the what do you call it, creativity. Just yo, man. If you beat Nemanja Matic, then you're gonna score Man U.
Oh, guys, can I add a fun fact?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Let me make you laugh for 1 second.
Sure.
I think it was one of the reasons why we got the wrong Torres when we signed it.
Let's talk.
Yo, man, that guy. So for me, I'm gonna go Terry Vidic just because of that ice cold. I think Vidic, man, Vidic, just because of that ice cold stillness, I'll give it to Vidic, the art of defending. So I'll give it to Terry as just my leader. I'll give it to Vidic number 2, based on the art of defending. Number 3, I'll give it to Company as a revolutionary, just what he brought, what he started for Man City. And finally, obviously, VVD, man.
Interesting.
Yes,
Chimere,
sir. Yes, sir.
1, 2, 3, 4. You can put any ranking, accolade, leadership skills, one-on-one defending. Because sometimes this defender, they're like old school defender. Look at Baresi, Maldini, Nesta. Those are old school Yam Stamp. Those are old school central back. They will kill you. They will kick you and ball together. Those are Vidic does that too. Even John Terry does the same thing too. So you can kind of put this kind of accolade in terms of ranking them.
Well, I'm gonna rank this based on how, because I'm not gonna use hindsight and go back. I'm gonna rank this based on how at the time at their peaks people were talking about them, what the what the narrative was around them, how they were talked about, what the aura was around them. Because Even though I was young, I was like, what? When Terry was in his prime, but like I was like 8, 9-ish. But I mean, I still remember the way he was talked about. So based on this list, Terry to me is number one. He's easily based on the way he was talked about when he's at his peak, making the team of the year 4 times in a row. You know, players like Eto will talk about him and say this guy's the best defender they played against. You know, to me, he's number one because based off what the way he was talked about back then, to me, you know, I remember people were saying he could be the best English center back, you know, in the Prem history. That's how he was talked about. He was the captain of Chelsea, a Chelsea team that was in 04, 05. Didn't you guys concede the least goals?
Back to back.
Didn't you guys concede the least goals like, you know, history?
Yeah,
in Premier
15
League?
goals. 15 goals, yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, I remember how Terry was talked about then. Terry's number one to me. Now, if I'm going number two, I have to say Van Dijk because this guy came second in Ballon d'Or. The way people were talking about him, the way he came into Liverpool. Because Liverpool's defense, if you don't remember, that was their weakness. That was their weakness before he joined. He joined, and that weakness became a strength of theirs. Because that defense, which was their weakness, which was what prevented them from challenging for the title, he joins, and it becomes a strength. Because remember, he joins and they make the CL final. They sell their best player, who people thought was their best player, Coutinho. They sign him. They go to the final. That's impact. They sign him next year. They're competing for the Premier League. Then, you know, next year they win the Prem. Yeah, after he gets injured, then they catapult. They're horrible. He comes back. They're back in the Prem title race. They lose to a Great City team by 1 point. That's impact. I have to look at those things. And Vidic to me is third. I mean, I'm a United fan, so of course I love Vidic. But I mean, I'm gonna be honest. Like, Vidic was great, but at that time, you know, like they were United. It's like it wasn't really about like one, you know, defender per se or one player. That team was like it was a system. You know, I'm not saying Vidic was a system defender because he wasn't, but to me, like Vidic, he wasn't like because at the time when United were on top, Vidic wasn't like regarded as like he wasn't held in esteem like the way people talked about a Terry or a Van Dijk. You know, they said he was a great defender. He was one of the best in the Prem, but nobody put him in that like aura. The way I heard them talk about Terry, the way they talked about Van Dijk. You know, I didn't really hear other attackers talk about him that way either, like that. You know, so so that just based on
Yeah,
that.
but that's easy. Chimere, that's easy. That's because Vidic had the bad boy image locked down. He was the bad boy of, if you
Serbian
remember,
warlord tax.
he was the bad boy of his class. Like
Vidic
like
was great, but I mean,
no,
you
he
know,
was great, but like he had the bad boy image, so the media wouldn't favor him to get to have that kind of exposure at that time.
No, I'm not
Oh,
really.
but
I'm not really talking about.
didn't Vidic win Player of the Year though?
Yeah, he
He won
did.
Player of the Year.
Yeah, he
so
did.
he got
He
he
did.
got his plaudits. He got his plaudits.
He got his
Yeah, he got his
plaudits,
plaudits.
man.
I'm just talking about compared to these guys. That's my point. I'm not talking about in general. I'm talking about compared to the guys we're talking about. When you compare his plaudits to Terry and Van Dijk and Terry are clear when it comes to that. That's what I'm.
Yeah,
That's
we
the
have
point
the
I'm
same
making.
ranking. We literally have the same ranking, bro.
Yeah, but Chimera, let me push back in what you just said. You see, if we take Van Dijk and we put him to one side, the other three, they played in different systems under different managers, and they all thrived. Do you think Van Dijk is a system-based defender, or is he more than that?
I don't know because the thing is, it's hard for me to say that because like when he came into, you could say you could say that Liverpool system plays to strengths, but at the end of the day, before he came to Liverpool, you know, their weakness was the defense. He comes in and that turns into a strength. So for me, like if he's a system defender, then you know, like why does the system fail when he's not there? You know what I mean? Like that's how I look at it. You can say in Holland
Because
also,
he gets opened up like a can of sardines.
I mean, yeah, but even
when he plays for Amsterdam.
but I've seen Vidic get opened up as an NFL fan. You know,
True,
every defender has bad games. I've seen Terry get opened up. It happens, you know. But based on what Van Dijk has done since he stepped into Liverpool, you can't deny it. This guy has been arguably the best center back in the Prem since he stepped in Liverpool. I can't. I don't know. I'm not. I have no reason to be coming here to praising Van Dijk because I don't like Liverpool. But since this guy came to Liverpool, man, he's been the best center back in the Prem. Maybe him and Ruben Diaz, but I edge Van Dijk based on the impact he's had. This guy comes in, they make a final. Next season, they're competing for the Prem with City, a City team that won had 99 points, barely missed it, 98. Then the next
Okay,
season,
okay, Chimera, let me
they win
ask
the
you a
Prem.
follow-up question, right? Let me ask you a follow-up question to what I just asked you.
Wow,
The
people
reason why
really
I
don't
actually
like Van Dijk. People really don't like Van Dijk,
no,
bro.
Tosin,
Van
no.
Dijk,
We're talking
no. Van
football.
Dijk has
No,
to
we're
earn.
talking
He has to
football.
earn. Van Dijk hasn't even earned the kilometers. Let me clarify this whole
No,
thing.
come on, man.
No. He
Nah,
hasn't
blue
earned
eyes.
the kilometers, man. No.
Can I speak on this,
Tosin,
Abdullahi?
Hold
yeah.
on.
1 second, Victor.
Let me finish.
You will speak on it. Give me a second. Let me just ask him a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, it's not that I don't like Van Dijk, right? If you're talking about pure footballing terms, if you know you're an elite level defender, any system you play in, you make it yours. Case in point, we saw with the other three that we're talking about. But the reason why I wanted to ask that question is it actually a case, or can you give a case to the fact that Klopp, because he studied his system, he knows his system inside out, and he breathes and lives this gegenpress system. Is it a case of him just being, lucky enough to pinpoint the right defender at the right time and
Okay.
bringing Van Dijk in?
Oh wait, Baguli,
Or
let me
is it
ask you a
just,
question.
yeah, go on.
Okay, you're saying different systems, right?
Mhm.
When I think about Chelsea, I don't think about a team that played a system. It was a team of personalities. Now, when Andres Villas-Boas decided to come in and put in a system, because Van Dijk, that system that Liverpool are playing, it's a high line. They're playing in a high
Mhm.
line. Liverpool are playing in a high line. When John Terry had to play in a high line under Villas-Boas,
It was a
what
split.
did we see? What did we
No, but
see?
that,
Tell the truth.
no,
Let's tell the
no, but
truth.
no, but that wasn't a peak Terry though. That wasn't really a
Doesn't
peak
no?
Terry.
Come on, it's still part of it. It's still part of the discussion. It's part
Yeah.
of the
Yes,
discussion.
okay.
I
Let
agree.
me answer
When
you.
John
Let me
Terry had to
answer you.
play in that high line, what did Van Persie do to them? Van Persie, Jorginho, they were all taking turns on. It was a Bukaki session, man. They were
Yeah,
all
but let
taking
me let
turns
me
on him.
let me answer your question, right? You see,
Guys, come on.
you see Van Dijk's history, right, in terms of Celtic and so on. We've seen him play for Celtic. We've seen him play for Southampton and other teams before that. I think it was in Rangers. I'm not sure. Somebody can correct me, but I think it was
It
in
was
Rangers.
Celtic.
Celtic.
Celtic, yeah. Okay, yeah, Celtic. Yeah, so like in terms of John Terry, yes, in that Villas-Boas system, yes, he was caught, you're right. If I use the right terms correctly, with his pants down his knees, you're right.
Was that
But
the 5-2 season?
that
Yeah, that was.
yeah,
Yeah.
It was
that's
the
the
5
one.
man. I still remember that slip. That shit was
Yes.
painful.
But since we're talking about accolades and we're looking at each and every player's CV, right? At that age range, when John Terry was playing that Villas-Boas system, he wasn't in his peak. And before that, he had to play under how many more coaches? I think was it 5 or 6 in total. And his level never fell off. He was always consistent. You're right, yeah, there were personalities, you're right, which will not let you, fall off easily. But for you to have the wherewithal and the understanding of what each coach wants you to do in a different formation that coach is using at that particular season, you have to be a certain elite level player. But
Yeah.
when we saw Van Dijk in Holland, and we saw him under Koeman, then we saw him under Van Gaal, and then as was a little bit under Hiddink as well. I'm not sure if he played a lot, but I think he featured under Hiddink as well. He was not the same player that he was in Liverpool. This is why I'm asking this question.
No, but can I
But
say
wait.
that?
How do you rank Van Dijk's prime? Like his prime? 2018 to 2020. Like, how do you rank his prime?
To be honest with you, if we look at his age, I don't even think that was his prime. I think he can even do much better. To be completely honest with you, but the
But
thing
don't you
is,
think he's past his prime now since
No,
that
but that
injury?
no, but Gula,
no,
that
but
peak. No, but Gula, Van
yeah,
Dijk's peak. Let's just say that peak, bro. Compared to if we're comparing it to these guys, that peak he had, like
It's
to me,
ridiculous. It was crazy.
it got to be second after Terry. It has to be.
Yeah, easily.
oh, okay. So you mean just for that prime season that he had?
Yeah, just prime. Because the
Two. It
question
was
is just
three
peak.
seasons.
3
17,
seasons.
18, 18, 19, 19, 20. Those 3 seasons.
Yes, but knowing how he is as a defender, right? Because with defenders, it's not about age. what is he now? 30, 29, 30, 31?
It's 31.
It's like 31 or
Yeah, they can
32 or
still,
something like that. Yeah.
yeah, so they can play until 34, 35 easily if they look after themselves. So I think he can actually do well in the future. But I think it's only the issue that I have with him is this system-based defending. That's the only issue I have with him. But I know in his prime, he's one of the best. I'm not arguing that.
No, but
But
good.
okay, who did,
but
did Van Dijk play with a center back? Did he have a center back partner as good as Ricardo Carvalho or Rio
No,
Ferdinand like Vidic?
no.
No, he didn't. He
They're
didn't.
not. They're not even. But that's what I mean, because if
It's a good
we
point.
take the system aside, right,
Mm-hmm.
and we put Van Dijk in any of the top four, let's say, Premier League teams, right, will he perform as well? That's the issue that I have.
Manchester
Because when I
City
see him in
wanted him.
Holland,
Manchester City wanted him.
no,
Remember?
yes, but
no, but
If he went to
Gula,
City, that would have come on.
no, but Gula, let me ask you let me say it like this. Don't you think that Liverpool system might hinder him
mhm.
because it puts him more harm's way, more than other defenders?
To be honest with you, I don't think it's going to be as much as other teams because, as you know, the gegenpress, the defense starts from the midfield, right? The only time that Van Dijk had issues in terms of defending or he got caught was when it was a quick counter and the midfield. Usually, you know how Liverpool is after 60 or 67 minutes to 70 minutes because they've been running too much. Sometimes there will be holes in your defense, which starts from the midfield anyway, in terms of the gegenpress. So when he gets caught in the counter, that's when he has issues. But in terms of the system, he don't even
Mm-hmm.
have to do that much work because the work is done for him from the midfield. All he has to do is be a sweeper. He's very good at reading the game, and that's his strength.
That was a
So he knows how
fantastic
to
answer.
anticipate. Yeah, so he knows how to anticipate, where the pass is gonna go.
Fair enough.
So
Chimere, quick round up,
But
so I'll wait on that answer.
okay, so Vidic third, but Terry first, Van Dijk second, Vidic third. And the reason why I have company last is like he was good in the Prem, but I'm gonna be honest, man. Like a lot of CL games, man, this guy wet the bed, bro. Like I'm just gonna be honest with it. Like I mean, like I'm just gonna be honest, man. When it was time to play the good competition, man, he didn't really show up like that. Like in a lot of big CL games, like bro, I'm just being honest. Like he's a great in the Prem. Like in the Prem at his time, he was the best defender in the Prem at his time, at his peak. Because I think Vidic by then had declined. Terry, I don't even think Terry was playing at that point when he was at his peak. Van Dijk wasn't at Liverpool then, so he was the number one center back in the Prem. I'm just talking about overall compared to these guys. Like when you look at overall CL, Prem, peak, like in a lot of CL games, dude, like bro, like he wet the bed. Like I was gonna be honest, like
Fair enough. Vote on 1, 2, 3, 4. Accolade, man on one, whatever rank you want to rank them. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I think we all gonna agree on the same. Company for me is last, man. I'll say this about company. I do think he has had the best international career out of all of those defenders up there. So I guess he can have that. But in the Champions League, the guy just didn't do enough for me. I mean, he had amazing moments, and I mean, 11-12. That goal he scored, um,
Against
the
United,
last
I
game.
think.
Yeah, it was against United, something like that. I don't remember who it was.
yeah,
But then
it was against us, Vilton. Thanks, man.
yeah. Then you also had the Leicester goal, obviously, in 18-19. So he's been really good in the Premier League, but unfortunately, man, he has nothing to show for in Europe, which is it's honestly embarrassing when you think about it. It's embarrassing. But as for John Terry, I think John Terry to me is number one. I mean, the guy was fearless, right? The guy, I swear, you probably could. John Terry would knew like you were gonna kick him, like you like your cleats, like bro. I've seen this guy take like vicious blow, like it's like he didn't care, but defending was just an art to this guy. You know how they say the art of defending? That's what John
Mm-hmm.
Terry was. I mean, the guy was just a warrior. He was fearless. But now you see defenders not being afraid to go in and stuff like that for challenges, which is honestly sucks about the game. But I mean, the game is changing. Player want to last longer, but John Terry is what you call old school defending. I believe he was player of the season what 2 times that season when Chelsea with Mourinho. I mean, you guys kept the most clean sheets I think in the entire league. It's still a record to this day. I don't think anybody's ever going to break that record because that record is so difficult, especially at hard. I think now defending is way harder now than what it is back then, in my opinion. So I think that Chelsea clean sheets is definitely gonna be there for a while. So Terry's first. I would put Vidic second, just because of his impact. I mean, the guy was. I know most people like. I'm not gonna compare pick. I'm just comparing like the total body around, right? I think Vidic to me was. I think he was underrated. I think most people talk about Rio Ferdinand way more than Vidic. I don't know if it has to do because Rio Ferdinand's from England, this and that, but I think Vidic was very underrated, honestly. And as for VVD, man, this guy, man, oh, this guy to me is he's the most overrated center back I've ever seen in my entire
Oh
life, bro.
God.
Like
Sha.
this guy, VVD, he's a great. See, I'm not saying he's trash.
Sha.
VVD is a good defender, but he's
Sha.
massively overrated by the media, the Liverpool fans, and all the propaganda I see on Twitter, bro. At one point, I saw Michael Owen going on live TV saying this guy is the greatest defender of all time. Like, bro, you shouldn't be saying stuff like that. The guy was only at his peak for only 2 years, bro. John Terry prime lasted for a good like 7, 10 years. This guy was only good for 2 seasons. Then after that, he fell off massively.
No, that's not true.
Like, what
That's
has he done? What has he done? I'm being honest. Like, what has he done? He fell off massively. Like, it's the injury. I get it. It's the injury. But at one point, I remember people were comparing this guy to Ramos. They were saying he's better than Ramos, bro.
He was
Like,
better
it's
than
insane.
Ramos.
not, at some
Just
point
stop,
he was
bro.
though. At some points he was.
No,
It
they say
was, yeah. At a
they
point,
say
he was the best
overall.
defender in the world.
They say, yeah, I'll
Let's
give
not
him
do
that.
this.
18, 19, yeah, he was. But overall, they were saying this guy is a better defender than Ramos. And I was like, bro, because he had 2 amazing seasons. Like, come on, bro, let's not do that. Like,
Bro, have you
18,
seen
19,
Ramos in
he
La
was good.
Liga?
19,
How
20,
many
he was
titles
really
did
good.
Ramos cost you?
What? It
Let's not
doesn't
act like
matter.
Ramos is this
Okay,
great.
okay, okay,
No,
okay,
no,
okay, okay, okay,
this is
okay.
Champions League
Okay, the
nonsense,
Champions League.
man.
Let's bring the Champions League. How many World Cups has VVD played in again? That was his first World Cup in what? And he's like what 30 plus years old? He's like 30 plus years old. No, he's like 30. He's what 30 plus years old. He finally and what did he do in the first World Cup? Oh yeah, I'm the captain. I'm gonna take the first penalty. What did he do? He shit the bed, man. I'm tired of this guy. And what did he do at the Euro, bro? He didn't even play at the Euro, bro. Because in the Nation League
You
final,
can't blame defenders for missing penalties, man. You can't do that.
what did he do in the Nation League final in 1819 against Portugal? He didn't do nothing. This guy is overrated. He's a great defender, but I'm tired of people hyping
I
this
mean,
guy
he was
up
playing
like
Christian.
I
He's
will
playing
admit
Christian.
though,
defender.
his international. No, it's actually a good point though. His international career is very underwhelming. Van Dijk's
Bad.
mean,
It's
I mean,
very
I
bad.
mean,
It's
Haaland-
not like he's
I mean,
playing
he's
for a
playing for
bad
Haaland.
country. He's playing for the Dutch.
Just-
He's not playing for a bad
John
country.
just
He's playing
rolled
for the
this guy
Dutch.
in his split.
No, he's a good defender. No, see this. I'm not starting an agenda. He's a good defender, but my issue is that when you have people like Michael Owen saying he's the greatest of all time, and Liverpool fans, they know
Yeah,
it's
He's
just
a
that's
Liverpool guy.
crazy.
He's gonna say that.
that.
Man.
Bro, they were saying he's the greatest of all time, bro. I've never heard any United fans say Vidic or Ferdinand is the greatest defender ever. I've never heard anybody say that.
Nah,
But the
Milton,
way,
you don't-
especially
Milton,
especially that propaganda on ESPN FC they be pushing. At one point, they were saying this guy has had a better career than Ramos because Ramos had more records than he does, which is embarrassing. Ramos is a 2-time Euro champion, World Cup winner. VVD, you finally played your first World Cup ever. Congrats! I'm happy for you, man. You finally did it. Like, come on, bro. 18, 19, he was amazing. Right? That one stat where nobody could dribble past him. But let's keep it real, man. He hasn't made the Simpsons injury, which is unfortunate. The injury really slowed him down. I don't know what happened, but this guy's a walking
No,
meme. now.
I think he was great last year. Like not last year, but the
He
year
was
you know,
good. He was good last year, but I think Konate was slightly better than him, me personally.
No, you talk about what? Not 20? No, you talk about the
This
City.
Come
This
on,
season.
really? Come on, Vilton,
This
come on.
season.
Now you just hate. You
No,
hate.
this
you
season,
just
this
hate the
season,
guy,
this
man. You
season,
don't-
this
No,
season,
you don't like.
Konate
You
was
don't like
better.
Judah.
No, Konate was Liverpool's best
I'm
Konate
defender
is a
this
captain,
season.
talking about the
man.
season
Konate
before.
is a captain.
Before,
Just
not
stop
this
this
season.
nonsense.
No, I said this season, Blue Eyes. This season that just passed. He was the best defender.
Oh
He was
no, this
Liverpool's
season
best
Van Dijk was
defender.
trash.
Konate is a
I'm
captain.
talking about the
Just
season
when you
before.
see Konate running, you just hear sticks. Kukum, kukum, kukum. Konate is a great captain.
No, but Blue Eyes, you can't deny that VVD has been bad this season. I'm not talking about last season.
Yes,
This season.
obviously, yes, obviously.
Yeah, so Konate's been the best defender. Yeah, obviously the season when they were going for the quadruple, he was okay. I don't think he was the
great.
best defender
Come
in the
on,
world.
man.
And I'm sorry, Ruben Diaz has taken that title away from me. He's not the best defender in the
Listen,
Premier League anymore.
VVD, listen,
It's
the thing,
done, bro.
But I hear what you're saying, Vilton. Just really quick. But Virgil van Dijk, even when he has a bad game, his presence is good enough. That's the kind of player he's earned those credits.
I
call
know.
it
I saw
aura.
his
He's earned
presence.
those
I saw that aura. I
Or
saw a
thank
lot
you, Aura.
of that
Thank
aura.
you.
I saw a lot of that aura this season, man. People were
Oh
licking their
guys,
lips, man.
oh
I saw
guys,
it
it's
a lot.
called. Oh guys, it's called pretty privilege. That's what it's called.
And also, sorry
Oh,
to
really?
change topic real quick. Blue Eyes, what happened to
Yes.
your Miami Heat logo, bro? You still have the Miami Heat logo on.
Yeah. Yo, don't get me
you
started.
guys
Yo,
are
that
sick.
team, man.
No, no, Blue
That
Eyes, don't
team,
let
man.
Vilton
Don't
bait
get
you,
me
man. This
started.
guy, Vilton wants to bait you. Don't let him bait you, man.
So let me come
No,
to
it's okay. It's okay. No, it's okay to bait me. Listen, the Heat have been.
K-Man.
Anyways,
Let me
Milton, I'll
come to
talk to you
you.
about it. Don't worry.
K-Man,
Yo,
1, 2, 3, 4. You
The
can
Heat have been
one-on-one
shit, man.
defending,
Shit.
maybe old school defending, accolade anything. K-Man, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Before I start, firstly, I don't like these type of comparisons, but we need to understand that these guys are from very different eras, right? But now to name them, for me, JT
no,
and,
they're all from
Vidic
the same era. They're all from the same era,
no,
except Van
their
Dyke.
peak,
Except Van
their
Dyke,
peak.
really.
No,
their peak.
company.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm talking about their peaks. So for me, tied in first place is JT and Vidic, right? And I'll explain my reason. JT, I've watched this guy. I've seen how he sacrifices his life, throwing his head in front of a ball, in front of a foot. Listen, man, you can't explain. This man was a madman. If he was not a footballer, he'd be a method. I swear to God. Vidic, half my family is United fans. I've grown up looking at United, watching United, talking to United fans my entire life. Vidic, this guy was a stone cold killer. I can't lie to you, man. In the local the local football ground, if you're a good defender, your nickname is Vidic. I never heard that about JT. Van Dyke. I think a lot of people are disrespecting him. Honestly, I really do. If you think about it, if Klopp was not a bum, this guy would have been winning so much. The only thing you guys can actually have against him is maybe you can say he's not a leader, right? You can say that the guy is not he's not like a leader like the rest of these guys. But in terms of accolades, out of these four, only one of them has made it to a Ballon d'Or shortlist, right? You have to give props. You can't deny that. You have to give props. So it is one, like first place is JT and Vidic, third is Van Dijk. Company, man, you're just an overrated light bulb, in my opinion. In my honest opinion, I think that he did more harm. No, he did to me. No, to me, he did a bit more harm than good for City. Let me not lie. Look at them now. That's just my opinion. You can take it, you can leave it. It's up to you.
Abdul, 1, 2, 3, 4. Abdul is gonna lecture us now. Go ahead.
Yeah, actually, this is a very good discussion to have. The first question I want to ask is, can you guys hear me?
Man, Abdul, just make your
Loud and
ranking,
clear,
bro.
loud
Why
and
you gotta
clear.
ask a question?
You see, you know what, Tosin, you know what I like about Oga Abdul, yeah? But before he starts, he'll give you a thriller. It's like you're watching a thriller movie. He's gonna drop a cliffhanger,
Is my mic
and then he will
working?
attack.
Okay.
Abdul, we are not in school, please. We are not in school.
I'm going to try and summarize us, but this is a
No,
very good
go
discussion.
ahead. I'm joking, Oga Abdul.
It's a very good discussion, and I like it. And defenders used to be my favorite players on the pitch, so I like the discussion a lot.
Oh, you said used to? So who's your favorite now? Like midfielders, attackers?
Oh, it is. Oh, well, anyway. Now I'm more rounded, so I like look at every part of the pitch really. To me, out of these four players, Vincent Kompany is the best defender.
Whoa.
It's
Explain
unfortunate. It's unfortunate. His dad went to seek refuge in Belgium, because if his dad had gone to Holland, he would be a Dutch international, and the story about him would have been totally different now. That's the beauty of life. Most of us don't realize
Good, man. That's
that.
what nice.
Most of us don't realize Vincent Kompany was Belgian Footballer of the Year at the age of 17. And then he went to, I think, Hamburg, somewhere in Germany. And I think most of his career in Hamburg, he was playing as a defensive midfielder before he then came to Man City.
Oh, I never knew that actually.
Yeah.
Preach, Abdul, preach.
So to me, I'm not a City supporter, but I always have the sense that every player is well settled and confident when he's on on the pitch, especially when he was at his peak. Like the goalkeeper feels more assured, the rest of the defenders feel more secured, and things like that. And if you talk about a sportsman having 100% belief in themselves, I'm not talking about ability, belief in themselves. He has 100%. He has what he call a supreme belief in your own self as a human being, as a sportsman, and that is what we've seen translate into him being even a manager at the moment. One thing I want to say is there is 2006 World Cup, 2008 Euros, 2010 World Cup, and then I think 2012 Euros. Which of these big tournaments did we remember John Terry in?
None.
None. And we say he's one of the greatest English defenders.
But I mean, to be
Personally,
fair though, Abdul, the last
But he is
They,
though.
they
He's not.
said
He's not one of
Premier
the
League though.
greatest.
They said Premier
One-
League though.
no. I've just asked a simple question. Which of those
but
tournaments?
Abdul, that's the thing. The
What?
last
No,
time
no.
he
you are
Hold on,
sick.
wait on.
Man.
Which of those tournaments was his contribution
nothing. England
significant
hasn't
in?
done anything since '66, bro. It's not John Terry's fault.
No, but I've just listed 4 big tournaments for you.
I know,
If in 4 big
all
tournaments,
all three of these guys you see right here, except for company,
hold
maybe.
on, Wilton. I've mentioned 4 big tournaments. At least in the 2002 World Cup, you can say the pairing of Sol Campbell and Rio Ferdinand was very strong. They were actually one of their best players. You can say the best big tournament Rio Ferdinand played was in 2002 World Cup, and his contribution, or the pair's contribution, helped them to get to the quarterfinal before they met in Brazil.
Okay. What about
John Terry,
Euro 2004? John Terry, was he good there? I'm just asking.
was he even in Euro 2004?
I think it
don't
I
was.
don't know. I don't know.
I
I don't know.
think it was.
Exactly. If he was, you would know. I can't
think it was.
remember.
But Abdul,
remember.
there's really no point. None of these guys, except for company, had a good international career on there, honestly.
But we're looking at them individually. Okay, so we have to give them merit based on their individual, individually. I cannot put them in as a lump. And I'm going to make a controversial statement. You might believe it or not.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
John Terry, as a defender, stopped improving. Okay, almost stagnated when Jose Mourinho first arrived at Chelsea in 2004.
Yeah.
There was no improvement in John Terry from then. I think it was like 24, 25. What John Terry was known for when he first came on the scene under Claudio Ranieri, I think maybe like a 20-year-old or so, I had not seen, I don't think I had seen a defender had those attributes. Aggression with close ball control. I'd never seen any defender had what he had. Most defenders, they're either aggressive or maybe they had close control. John Terry had the two together. At that point, 24, 25 years, when Jose Mourinho actually came to Chelsea, okay, he stagnated. And everything became about being a bulldog on the pitch.
But he was making World 11s. He was making FIFA World 11s all like year. He was like a fixture in this.
So then that gets me to my next point that I'm trying to make. And I've just recently learned this. Okay, there is a difference between watching a player and seeing a player. 80% of John Terry's career, people love to see him, not necessarily watch him. So people actually don't focus more on what he does as a footballer. There is a difference between a player that loves to be watched and a player that loves to be seen. Okay.
Oh my goodness! Somebody please, somebody just I beg you, somebody just ring bell for my head. Make I hear word, I beg.
What is what? Make I first. It's my turn now. Make I talk my talk now. Make I talk my talk now.
Nice, bro. Yeah, finished tonight. Abdullah's finished.
Yeah. Oh, guys, that's called a double entendre question. You can check it out.
No, but like when he says he likes to be seen, I think of that slip in the final. You know,
No,
like John Terry.
no. You're jumping.
No, but it's a double entendre. No, but when like Gouy says double
no.
entendre, I think of it that way. Like he just likes he's a camera. He's a defender for the camera.
No. It's
Is
not.
that what you're trying to say?
No. That's not what I mean. That's not what I'm trying to say. Okay. What I'm trying to say is, I'm not saying what comes from the player. I'm just saying this is what the world of football is. Okay. Being seen has different parameters to it. Okay. When you put Ricardo Cavani next to John Terry, a lot of people want to watch Ricardo Cavani or only watch him because they know he's a great footballer. Or all that is happening is you only watch Ricardo Cavani. But people want to see John Terry because they know he has this bulldog kind of fight. They know he's English. He's an English player. He's an English international. He's a captain. Okay. He's more relatable. So he's more higher on the parameter of trying to be seen, not really watched. Another of those two players that come into play is Frank Lampard and Michael Essien. We only watch, most of the time, Michael Essien. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is, to me, out of these four, not to digress too much, is John Terry is at the bottom of the list for me.
Bottom, maybe number 3.
Number four. Number 4.
So who's on number 1? Who's on number 2? Who's on number 3?
My number 1 is Company. My number 2 is Van Dijk. And I think Van Dijk, out of the 4 of them, is actually unlucky because he had to go through Celtic, Southampton before he landed at Liverpool. But you cannot take it away from this guy. He was once the best defender in the world.
Tayo, I will suspend you.
So Van Dijk, at some point, Van Dijk was the best defender in the world. You can't take that, no matter how you want to slice and dice him. Okay, and it's not easy to get to that level. Okay, it's unfortunate because he was unlucky, but that's just life. If he had come through like the ranks of Liverpool, okay, we'll be saying it will be a totally different story about Van Dijk.
Wait, Abdul, I have a question. Was there ever a year that John Terry was the best defender in the world? Even the whole panel, like, what was the year that where we thought John Terry best defender in the world? Because that's interesting. Because none of these other players, Vidic, Company, I don't think there was ever a year they were like the best defender in the world. Van Dijk for sure.
Listen. Most of the accolade John Terry got in his career was attributed to him being a player that loves to be that most people love to see rather than watch. I've already said that. People love to see. If you look at him through certain lens and you look at certain parameters, it's because they love to see him. He's our leader. He's our captain. He's English. He plays for Chelsea. All those attributes, and I'm not just saying this. We all know we all know that Mikel Obi.
Okay, then.
We cannot say,
then,
hold
yeah,
on,
then
Blue Eyes,
hold
don't
on.
distract me. Don't distract me. No. You want to distract me. Let me say, you will have your own time to talk.
Yes,
Okay.
you respond. Don't worry, you respond.
Even Mikel Obi mentioned this a few weeks ago that when he first came to Chelsea, like for 4-5 seasons, John Terry was always talking to him. Don't go forward, stay, don't run forward, blah 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 blah. So he was obviously communicating to him to make sure Mikel Obi covered him to some extent. And Mikel Obi said in his own words that some top players have what they call systems. Like there's something called, there is a system to what they are doing in terms of people getting the accolades they're getting. That you make sure you tick certain parameters, and before you know it, you are the best player in certain matches, and even they are wondering like, what did this guy do in the pitch? Okay, so it's not like I'm making something up or saying something about what I'm feeling or whatever. So, in answer to your question, Tosin, right? I can't remember when he was once voted the best player, the best defender in the world. I can't remember. I'm not saying you're not correct, but I can't remember. But I'm saying 80% of his accolades were attributed because people love to see him much more than people like to watch him. Vidic, in my own opinion,
it's a really interesting point.
Vidic, in my own opinion, I really like Vidic as a defender, but sometimes I always change my opinion because I don't know, maybe it's Rio Ferdinand that is making him look that great, or is it him that is making Rio Ferdinand look great? So I'm always in a dilemma anytime I'm assessing Vidic and Rio. I don't know who is the better. Is it because he's playing next to Rio Ferdinand? Because he comes from a low-profile football nation, so you can't really use international game to really assess him per se, if we're to be fair.
But Abdul, can't you just isn't that a positive argument for Vidic?
If you want it, that is what I'm saying. My argument is always shifting. I'm not saying he's not great. Okay,
I think Rio and Vidic were both the number one center backs.
Exactly.
Both could lead the line.
They were just too good. They were just too
both
good.
of them together was like a cheat code. Like that's really what it was.
Just like Terry and Carvalho.
Anyways, whenever you guys are ready for those, I just want to say one thing really quick. Whenever you guys are ready, just one last thing. No, I just want to say something really quick. Really quick, Abdul. Just one statement. Whenever you guys are ready to have a footballing discussion about involve me.
Blue Eyes, stop it, man.
That's all.
Okay, we'll tell you when Abdullah is about to end
exactly.
Yeah, so Vidic in my own point, what I'm saying is that is why I'm putting Vidic as number 3, because it will be very difficult for me to put him ahead of Van Dijk and Vincent Kompany. But he's a top defender. I wouldn't argue about that, you know. And I'm not really going to disagree. But I'm saying anytime I reflect on him as a defender, I'm sort of thinking like, is he really that good? What if he didn't play next to Rio Ferdinand? Would we have thought he was that good? But that's just my take on the front. Anyway, let me know this time.
Coos, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can add anything to it.
Yeah. So for me, obviously it's good that I didn't go after Vilton because I think I was gonna probably say near enough the same thing. So my number 1 is John Terry. I think by far he's, for me, the best defender on this list. I'll go quickly. The reason why I think he's the best. I think it's easy for us to say because he's British and because he was at Chelsea and he had all these good players around him that he looked good. I think it's actually the opposite. I think it would have been easier for some of our British players that were in that team, Ashley Cole, John Terry, Lampard. It would have been easier for those guys to go missing and kind of get ousted out of the squad because we had the ability to go out into the market and buy any player we wanted at certain points across that 20-year period. So for me, watching John Terry, he wasn't. I know a lot of the attributes that people think about immediately. John Terry's grit and diving into tackles and putting his head on the boot of DRB when he tried to score against Chelsea in the Carling Cup final, I think it was. But he was more than that. I think me growing up watching him as a centre back, some of the standout things I can see when I think of John Terry is his positioning. It's always understanding when the ball's coming over the top. He was never blessed with pace, but he was always in the right place at the right time. Receiving the ball in tight areas, I think he's underrated. He's one of the first ball-playing centre-backs in terms of receiving the ball on the half turn and being able to spray it 40, 50 yards on his opposite foot. If people don't remember this, John Terry played left centre-back. When Ricardo Carvalho was in that team, so people rant and rave about these guys like Carvalho and all these guys. He changed his whole game to be able to accommodate into some of those great Chelsea teams. He had to actually play left centre-back. And if you think of John Terry's, some of his attributes from playing out from the back, he would clip the ball 30, 40 yards across the pitch with his left foot. Like, he was a gifted player technically in terms of the way he passed the ball. A lot of people, that was underrated for me. That's one of the, as I got older and I started to watch him a bit more, I was like, wow, this guy can play football. I think it was more towards the end of his career. I started to realize he's actually a very, very technically sound footballer. But he doesn't get that attribute because he doesn't look very good on the eye. But I think his technical side was very, very underrated. My second on the list is Vidic. Probably like, again, probably a bit, not opposite, but probably he was all action. He was maybe not as technical as maybe some of the Ferdinands and the Van Dijks and people like that, where they could play a bit more. He was just all action, heading, tackling, going into challenges, not holding back.
He was a warlord. Exactly.
Yeah, he was a really, like, he was not one of the first, but again, my era growing up watching, he was one of those guys that you knew he was no nonsense. He was playing, I think he was playing in Russia before. He was just a really like a brute, and he complemented Ferdinand really well. My third is Company. I think, probably a bit similar to, I think he's kind of a mix of the both of what I just explained. I think, again, probably someone that doesn't get attributed to having like the best technical ability, but again, when you watch him, doesn't look easy on the eye, but could drive the ball out of defense, could like slot passes into the midfield. And yeah, for me, he was a top centre back and leader. And then for me, last is Van Dijk, by far last. I personally think, I don't think he's a terrible centre back, but I'm just looking at this list and I'm thinking he doesn't even belong here. In my opinion, he doesn't belong on this list. I don't even think I think you can't, in my opinion, you can't go off 3-4 seasons. I mean, the guy was playing at Celtic and he was playing at Southampton, and then he had a couple of good years at the highest level and he's dropped off. I mean, yeah, the circumstances that are around that, maybe the injuries, Klopp's style of play, which maybe hasn't held him good into the back end of his career because it's quite intense and he hasn't got that same energy as he did 2 or 3 years ago. But ultimately, that's not anybody else's fault but his. And that's why, for me, you can't rank him amongst these guys. These guys were doing it for 8, 9, 10 years. John Terry.
So you're using the body of work. You're using the body of work argument. What about prime for prime? All four. Prime, all at their prime.
Ooh, John Terry.
For me, the list probably, that's a good point. For me, the list, this prime argument, I understand where it comes from, but if we want to be realistic here, when we're talking about primes, and I heard obviously you guys mentioned before about this notion that because he didn't get voted for Ballon d'Or, I don't think that's relevant at all. I'll tell you why. Just look. It's a really simple answer. Look at the quality level of centre back that was playing when John Terry was playing, and also look at the quality of striker. It's a fact now. Everybody knows the last 5 years the world has been struggling for strikers. The best strikers are all 30 plus. Benzema, Lewandowski, we can name them. There's about 3 or 4 or 5 of them at the absolute highest level. Go back to 2004. Just rewind your clock to 2004 and think about the level of striker that was around Europe.
Yeah, I remember the striker.
Bro, it wasn't no small pool of striker. You're talking about 10, 15 elite world-class strikers. So to say that, Van Dijk was voted Ballon d'Or and he was the best. And even look at the centre-backs. He was, let's be honest, Ramos has been dwindling the last however many years. And I'm not going to lie to you, after I say Ramos, I'm scrambling to go to guys like Laporte and then Rudiger. Like, who are you putting? When people are saying this guy was nominated for Ballon d'Or, I'm so sorry. Who are the other centre-backs that we're putting him against to give him this Ballon d'Or nominee? Like, bro.
No, it's not even that. It is the players that played at the time. Defenders usually don't get on a Ballon d'Or list. That's what makes it amazing. It's the same thing as Neuer's Ballon d'Or shortlist. It's the same thing.
Oh, Cannavaro won a Ballon d'Or in 06. Let's not do that.
Okay.
that.
Okay.
But
No,
that's
Cannavaro is
that's not the
5'8".
point.
But
Cannavaro
what?
is
But that's what I'm
5'8".
saying. Like, what level of
Cannavaro
centre
is
back?
5'8", 5'6".
What level? Yeah, what level of centre back would you say was been on that Van Dijk level? Like in the last 5, like there's nobody. It's a
What
thin pool.
there was the Godins, there was the
No.
the Godins, the Pepes, the Thiago Silvas, the Marquinhoses, they were all still
No,
top.
in
Marquinhos.
2019-18, Pepe was probably still 34. Thiago was 34, 35. This is what I'm saying. Van Dijk in his prime at 27, 28, 29. There hasn't been a big pool of centre backs for the last. You could almost say 10 years. Sorry.
No, he was playing with retirees. His graduating class was a bunch of retirees.
Do you understand? And he
Man, so why are we hating on Van Dijk for who you can only play in your own era? You can only play in the time you were in.
I'm not even hating on it. I'm just saying you have to add a bit of context because because I'm more linking this to John Terry because the slander to John Terry was he was around. He never was a good. I think he was even in the 2006 Team of the Year. I'm sure he was in the World Cup.
We all had John
He
Terry.
was there
Most of us had John Terry.
But I think someone said. I think maybe Abdul said John Terry wasn't nominated for anything at international level. I think he was one of the best that year when England lost to Portugal. Was that 06? Or I think he was one of the best tournament players in the tournament.
0406, I think.
Was it Euros or World Cup?
Euros. I think it was Euros.
Yeah, he was one of the best centre backs that tournament. So I was John Terry is an elite centre back. Like that is a fact. Like he's one of the best to ever play. And I'm a Chelsea fan, so I'm probably a bit biased, but the stats are there. Someone spoke about the record under Mourinho when he came in. So there's a lot of things back in John Terry, but to use the John Terry point to then prop up the Ballon d'Or for Van Dijk, I could say the same thing. If John Terry wasn't one of the best centre backs in 04, well, Van Dijk being one of the best centre backs in 2018 or 19, when there's no one around,
No, but let me ask a question. Because just like you said, there's no centre backs around. Let me say it this way. Can I make the case that attacking systems and attackers in better? I'm talking about attackers in general. I'm not saying like strikers. I'm saying attacking systems in general. Could you say it's harder to defend now than it was back then?
I think if you play for someone like Klopp, yeah, it's always going to be hard because the way he sets up the team, you're playing quite high up, and I think someone mentioned that. But in general, defending is defending. Like the art of defending. Now people want to pay good money for good defenders. Like it's not just about playing out from the back or position. Like you have to be able to. Playing out from the back has become the new style and fashion, and playing high lines. But ultimately, you need your defenders to be able to defend. Last couple of years, Van Dijk looks like he's kind of lost the ability to defend, and I think people are giving him a get out with this injury. But I don't know. Like,
because
he's on the decline.
Let me like my phone.
He's declined. He's honestly declined.
For me, when I look, because people mention, I've seen Abdul talked about company Van Dijk and everything. Just when he was speaking, I was kind of rewinding my brain back.
Wait, what's your ranking, Abdullah? What's your ranking?
I'm gonna rank him 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna use consistency. I will use longevity, and I also use accolade, and I also use leadership too, because out of those 4, only 3 of them had leadership. The rest of the last one doesn't have a leader.
Yeah, I know who it is.
No one can argue about that.
Relax.
No one can argue about that. Van Dijk is not a leader.
When it comes to the act of defending, because me, I like the way of defending. Ball and passing, break your leg. I don't care. I like that in the defender, because I don't like lazy defender. Lazy defender piss me off when I watch football. I love someone that can you and ball. That's me. You and ball. I'm gonna kick you guys off. I don't care. If I'm getting a red card, I'll get a red card. Like I fuck off. But I know I injure somebody is in the hospital. That's my own level of defending.
Wow.
Relax. That's my level of defending. So if I'm talking about art of defending, I'm gonna give it to John Terry, because people doesn't rate JT the way they rate defenders. Because if you look at the era of the striker we had then, we had Drogba. I can keep mentioning that year we had so many strikers. They were very, very prolific and very, very good. But look at this era we are right now. Before you can buy a defender, you have to pay close to 100 million, 150, 120 to buy an actual central back. Not even a world-class central back, an upcoming. Now you have to like nurture him to be a world class. Then there's nothing called like art of defending now. You can say like Rio Ferdinand, Yam Stamp, and Co. Those are defenders. Baresi, Nesta, Maudini. Those are guys that when you go into war, they go into war with you. Those are John Terry and Nemanja Vidic. Those two defenders, when you go into war, we are ready to go to war with you because they'll break you. They'll break your
And
leg.
I think Terry's in a class of his own, bro. I don't think, to be honest, I don't think these guys are close to Terry, man. Because this guy made FIFA player World Pro XI 4 times in a
Even
row.
with it,
That's what I'm saying. So when it comes to actual defending, I'm gonna give it to JT. And people doesn't rate that 04-05 season. We consider 15 goals in that season.
Oh yeah.
John Terry was very pivotal.
Oh yeah, that was the year that he was the best defender in the world.
That season, that year we won the Premier League title.
Abdullah, can I just make a quick interjection, please?
Go ahead.
Okay. That year you are talking about,
Mhm.
we had Ricardo Carvalho next to him,
Mhm.
Champions League winner, Euro finalist.
Mhm.
Okay. One of the best defender, if not a better defender than John Terry.
Yeah.
In the left full back, we had another central defender, William Gallas.
He was a center back. That is true.
One of the quickest defenders in the world. Then, to their right full back, we have Paulo Ferreira, one of the best right back in the world. Okay, and then as a keeper, we had in existence then the only keeper that would have challenged the great Yashin, if not for the head.
He was an alien.
If not for the head injury he had, the only human born that would have challenged the title of the great Yashin, if not for the head injury he had.
Prime Petacek was.
But then, if you look at that group entirely, which comes back to what I was saying earlier, which member of that group was loved to be seen by most football fans? Which member or which player in that group?
That's an interesting point. That's a very interesting point.
Was wanted most to be seen by the media, by the football fans, by the football analysts, by the TV people. Among those is John Terry.
No.
So you are attributing all of that success to John Terry.
That's a stacked back five, by the way. That's a stacked back five.
Because I get what you say. Because if I look at Gallas, I look at Carvalho. Yes, I agree with what you say. But Abdul, you can't negate what JT did in that season. You can't negate what
and Carvalho was good, but
Carvalho was very good. But Abdul, you look at JT, because the way I rate defender, the kind of defender you rate, I rate defender with consistency, and I rate it, apart from consistency, I rate defender also with longevity, leadership, commanding of areas. JT has that ability. Old school defending, he has that ability in him where as a striker, I have a problem having JT as my center.
And the way strikers talk about JT, man, when they played against him, like he was the guy for that period. Like you have players like Eto talk about him. He was the guy for that period. Like that's what I'm saying. That's so, like, when you look at what Terry did 4 times in a row, when you have guys like Puyol, Chiellini, etc., all these other defenders, good defenders back in the day in a hard era, he makes it 4 times in a row. You have Ferdinand, you have all these guys, and then on top of the way his competitors, the guys he went up against, talked about him, talked about how tough he was to play against. It's just, to me, like, he was the guy for that period. Like,
because Abdul was talking about 04. Because Abdul was talking about 04. John Terry was still playing when Puyol was playing. Ramos was there. Chiellini was even playing then, and JT was still playing. So
who was the one you're talking on?
Consistency is very key when it comes to defending. And see, people doesn't rate JT because he's British, he's England. John Terry is an actual technical center defender, very good on the ball, knows how to pass from the back, can do so many stuff. When we look at defender right now, like Van Dijk and Co does, JT has been doing that for a very long time. Yeah. So when defender does what defender, when they rave about defender a lot now, is the first in sliced bread. JT has been doing that for a very long time. So, am I surprised with defender doing stuff like this right now? No, because we're actually seeing defense. Even right now, as a defender, it's even easy to beat defender right now if you don't have the pace. But we talk about defender. Look at Thiago Silva as an example. He does not have the pace, but he has the brain and the intelligence. He knows when to read the games.
And the technical ability too.
Ability is there. So when you look at defender, you don't even need to have that pace. But when you have that brain, that intelligence, you can play in any league and you'll be successful. That's JT for you. So I'm gonna pick him as my number one. And also look at the manager Vidic too. It reminds me a little bit of JT too. Vidic is someone like I like very well. It doesn't give an F about you. It will keep you and Ball together. You and Ball, you land in hospital. That's Nemanja Vidic for you. It does not care.
Nemanja.
You and Ball, you will land in hospital.
No, he was
my God.
No, he was a good compliment next to us.
It was. See, if I'm having John Terry and Nemanja Vidic as my central back, Lord have mercy, come and score me. Both of them, come and score. Maybe you are good at the striker, come and score me. Because I know what I'm getting from those two centre back. I know what I'm getting from them. So my number one is JT. Number two is Vidic. Number three is tough because I watch Kompany play and I also watch Van Dijk play. Van Dijk for me, because I look at consistency, he only give me 3 seasons. That 3 seasons, yes, he was one of those centre back in Watford, but the but days, I'm still not convinced about Van Dijk at that period when he was giving me that 3 seasons. I wasn't convinced enough because as a defender, I need leaders. Van Dijk doesn't accord it as a defender that give me leadership for me. It does not. And the way the media rave about Van Dijk for me, sometimes it make me puke when they talk about defender. I'm not joking. It make me puke because as a defender, you have to know how to coordinate your defense. Leadership. It's very key as a defender.
Wait, Van Dijk wasn't coordinating at his peak. Come on, Van Dijk was organizing the defense at his peak. Let's not do this.
Abdullah, you can't blame Van Dijk for the era of social media. That's not his fault. That's just how it is nowadays.
I'm not blaming VVD for the social media.
Van
What I'm saying is
not Van Dijk, man.
People don't like it,
man.
bro.
Like, no, you can't. You gotta be that peak. Van Dijk was great, man. Like I can't lie. He was great.
At that peak, he was
elite. He was elite.
But when you're looking at the way I look at Van Dijk is different than the way I look at Vincent Kompany for me, and it's different than the way I look at Vidic.
Abdullah don't like Van Dijk.
No, guys, because the way
Okay. If we replace Van Dijk with Rio in this, how would we rank?
Now let's have a discussion. Now let's talk football.
To be honest, if Rio was
exactly
there,
what I
I
was
think he'd be
thinking.
number one. If Rio was there, he's number one undisputed. I'm sorry.
Rio?
He's number one undisputed.
I'd still
I'm
have
sorry.
Terry over
Yes,
Rio.
I still have that.
No, man. Rio was something else. Rio was something else.
Rio was something else, my brother. You're absolutely right. But JT is different gravy, my brother.
Because now, if I take that Van Dijk and put in Rio, now let's have a footballing discussion.
Are you saying that peak? Are you saying that peak overall? Because if you're saying that peak, to be honest with you, I'm saying this as a United fan, so I'm not. So there's no bias. If you're saying this at peak, I'll still have to say Van Dijk. If you're saying peak,
peak. Wait, peak Van Dijk versus peak Rio.
Yeah, if you're saying peak, like at their peak, who's better? Who has
it's still that's close. That's
No. Wait. When you say peak Van Dijk, you have such a small sample of 1 year, and it's so concentrated, unlike Rio, where he's given you multiple years.
No, Rio was.
I don't think that's fair.
Highest,
I really don't think that's
Rio.
fair.
Don't forget, Rio was the most expensive defender in the world.
Oh yeah, Rio was great. Rio was great.
And he was going. He went on deep Champions League runs with Leeds United, bro. Like before he went to United.
Tosin, this is the thing. This is what I look at with Van Dijk. It's just like as soon as Liverpool got this guy, the way he just impacted the team is crazy. That's what I look at. Like
because the way I read defender, like people might call me old school guy, rough guy. Van Dijk look like a sexy defender who, as a striker, I can I don't like that. As
what?
A defender.
No, what striker, bro? Come on, bro. Van Dijk was putting the fear of God into dudes. No one wanted to even try to dribble past him.
Abdullah, did you say that Van Dijk has sexiness as an attribute?
I like Van Dijk. I read Van Dijk the way kind of play football, but as a striker, I'm gonna be eating so much food around Van Dijk because it's very, very easy to beat him if I'm good as a striker.
knows how to score goals, have that ability. But because I don't want to face as a striker, I don't want to face someone like Company, Vidic, and Terry. I'm gonna not
Abdullah, 1 second. Abdullah, 1 second. That's a very good
question.
question. If you're a striker, who do you want to face? That's even a better question.
No, but to be honest,
of all these four, if I'm a striker,
I'm not facing Vidic and I'm not facing Terry.
Vidic and Terry will break your leg.
I'm seeing food when I see Vidic. Just ask Fernando.
Abdullah, I can't lie.
I'm seeing food.
I've seen Vidic get cooked.
I'm seeing food.
I've seen Vidic get cooked, bro. Like I've seen Vidic get cooked. I can't lie to you, man.
Man, those Torres days were something else, man.
Remember what Kaká did? I'm lying. Don't forget what Kaká did, man, to him and Heinze. Don't forget.
Oh my God. I remember that.
Wait. So, guys, what are we saying? If it wasn't for Torres, Vidic would be number one.
No, I've seen Vidic get cooked by Kaká, by Torres, by Messi, by so many people, man. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I mean, Vidic is a great defender, man. But I've seen he's gotten cooked. Like, I've seen him get cooked.
I saw Robin cook him too. Like,
Balotelli,
I've seen it.
Boateng. Goddamn.
Let me
so many defenders been cooked.
Let me read the shots. That's my own pickle. So
John T.
So Tayo said Abdul is getting close to say that John Terry is cut from the same cloth as.
Relax.
Oh no, man, that's too much.
Tayo said Blue Eye is the best for all this John Terry defamation.
No, man, it is Tayo. That's a very good point. If you attack the crown and the Union Jack, Blue Eye is on your case.
I'm looking for visiting visa. Please hook me up visiting visa.
Blue Eye, you get it, man. You get it.
Icy said, with this logic, Pepe is better than Ramos. Hi.
He low key, yes, he is.
No. I can't.
Yes, he is.
No.
Bro, Ramos is
Relax.
We can have that discussion. I'm
Ramos
actually
is
interested in
overrated.
having
I do agree with some of Abdul's point about JT. He is someone overrated because he's British. Tayo, relax.
No, I don't think so, man.
I don't think so. Stop.
Terry was just great, man. We just gotta give Terry was just a great.
You gotta respect JT. No. Respect JT, please. Respect.
No, but see, Abdullah, just to say one thing before you run on. This is what I would say. This is why for me, like, it's hard for me. This is why I rate Van Dijk highly, because he took what was a weakness in Liverpool and made it a strength. Because remember the year Liverpool were competing with City, they got a lot of 1-0s, a lot of like like they used to, their offense used to be the defense, but this guy got there and the defense became a strength. Like, and he's the only player they really added. I mean, they added Alisson, but I mean, but like even without Alisson, he helped them get to a final. It's just like it's just the impact this guy had once he joined their team.
No, wait, Kimer, that's a very good point, because if Liverpool actually had won a couple of more Prems without City, I think people would look very differently at Van Dijk, and that's a very good point.
Yeah,
that's a very good point.
I think they might even, honestly, some people might even like
say he's the best in the Premier League.
Like,
yeah, they might say he's the best in the Premier League.
Dominance is putting him down. Let's be honest.
Fair enough. Let me read it. Let me continue reading the chat. Pepe, Tayo said, of course, it's better than Ramos.
Of course, that's facts.
Oh, come on, man.
SSB said, damn, Abdul dropped the mic.
No, you gotta respect Ramos, man.
Icy said, how do you make what SI when the likes of Ramos, PK, Cheleni in their prime? That one.
Four times in a row, man.
Company had technical ability. He does. I like Company. I rate Company.
Shout out to that goal he scored against us, by the way.
Terry won the league with Gary Cahill next to him.
Did he win with Gary Cahill? I don't think.
Hey man, Gary Cahill used to score corners. Yeah, all right. The guy, he had a mad volley on him. You have to have some respect.
No,
relax.
Go to your feet. God will bless you for me.
To me, that is the greatest accomplishment. Cahill was at voting before he
Hey, Cahill was a Champions League winner. Show respect. Man.
Exactly. Put respect on Cahill's name.
Relax.
Okay. He was one of the boys.
Honorable mention, Christian Chivu. Yes. That's not a bad thing. Relax.
Come on, man. It's just
vote. Vote. Relax.
No, but you know an underrated center back pairing, bro? For that 1 year for Inter, Lucio and Samuel, bro.
Yeah.
For that 1 year.
Oh, that was a smoke. SSB said, this is Messi, Ronaldo era. You can't get more world class than two, to be fair.
Yeah. Van Dijk almost won a Ballon d'Or with Messi.
This guy said, the Marquinhos, relax, stop.
Weren't you Chelsea fans twerking for Marquinhos 3 years ago?
No,
2 years ago?
That's not a Chelsea fan.
Emily was a Chelsea fan. Relax.
Oh, okay.
SSB said if you touch an attacker now is nowadays is a foul. Abdullah, this defend relax.
I
Koulibaly,
Hey man, hey, let's respect Koulibaly in his prime, man.
You
Let's
see, you
respect
see,
prime Koulibaly.
you see, guys. This is what I mean by Koulibaly's single season, man. I don't like how people disrespect him now.
vote 15 goals is unreal. Yeah, that's an unreal season, man. For
Nah.
0405.
Tosin, I'm gonna be.
I
Tosin,
just said quick introduction, 10 minutes plus, but allow Abdul is cooking. Okay.
where's Blue Eyes? I want Blue Eyes to cook, man. He was ready
This
to
is
cook.
this is so stark. John Terry at Cahill. Yeah. He won the league with
What did
Cahill.
I do? Chima, what did I
Puyo
do?
was a little bit overrated. Relax.
I mean, listen.
That's facts. That's actually true. He was.
You know, it's a conversation, man.
Vote said also Terry had several coaches throughout the year. He always had that he had to reinvent himself. Vidic always played under Sir Alex Ferguson, Alex Safety Net,
Yep.
and Van Dijk
Facts,
played
facts.
under the Gengen
Okay.
pressing.
That's a good argument. That's a good argument. That's a good argument.
I agree. Vote.
That's a good
100%.
argument.
I agree. I agree with what you said. 100%. I agree. Okay, better now. All right. Emiliska said, "Good times watching Juan."
Nexus. Nexus. That's some good times.
That Ferguson thing was a great one because, like, you look at after Fergie left, United, man, Vidic didn't look great. Like, and Fernand was gone then too. So I'm saying, like, that's a good point. You know, you got to look at those
It is cumulative. It is.
Tayo, you are sick. Tayo said,
Premier League champion though. Premier League champion, man. Yeah, put respect. Put respect on Wes Morgan's name.
Abdul, SSB Abdullah, VVD led the line. Yeah, he led for me. Okay, this, like I said, VVD look like a sexy defender. I don't like that.
This guy,
I don't like that. Me.
Abdullah, why are you giving him attribute of sexiness, man?
I want someone that is rough, someone that is stubborn, someone that is arrogant. Someone that is
Wow,
so
come on,
you
bro.
you like
You like it rough?
I like, yes, God bless you. Yam Stam. I will kick you. You meet me in the hospital.
Abdullah don't get it. He didn't get the joke.
That's what I want. I kick you. You meet me in the hospital. That's what I want. I don't like sexy defender. They annoy me, man.
Yep, Stam.
They annoy me. No.
And this is Abdullah. It's funny you said that. This is the reason why another reasons why I respect Vidic, because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Vidic was probably the best heir to the Yapstam throne after Yapstam left. After that, you remember there was a time when Yapstam was picking up steam as this mean machine in the Manchester United defense.
Man United defense,
And then all of a sudden, when everything went down, it was kind of hard to find that same persona.
Yeah.
You know, to fit that persona of that mean guy in the back. And that's why when Vidic came in and, you know, the mantle fell on his, if somebody please correct me if I'm wrong here, the mantle basically fell on his lap, man. For him to carry that leadership in the midfield with what's his name?
Rio Ferdinand.
With Rio. Yeah, man.
Tayo said JT, Vidic, Van Dijk, and company. Yeah, okay, not bad. IC said you can't give me Terry, Vidic, company, a nice spice.
Oh my God, no, man! Stop that! That's not good, man. Bro, that's fine, bro. Stop that. That's not nice. Ice Spice. That's not nice. That's not nice.
Shout out to Ice Spice, man. Boricua,
Man, I thought they nicknamed Joe Gomez Ice Spice. Now they're still on Vidic. They're still on Van Dijk.
Man, what Van Dijk, man? Why is it? What's up with this?
That Champions League, the Champions League final. That's why.
You guys,
like
you
the way
guys are
that
sick,
assist from Valverde. Don't you remember?
and say Ice Spice is better. Relax. SSB said, if I'm a striker, I want to face Vidic. Interesting.
Yeah, I can't lie, man. Vidic, I've seen Vidic get cooked a couple of times, bro.
You know why? Because Vidic, yeah, I can see that argument, and you know it makes sense. If you play against a defender that is highly emotional, right? He can get got.
Yeah, you can get over.
You can get got if you're an emotional kind of, and that's Vidic. Vidic is crazy. He's a
very crazy defender. Yeah.
That's why Terry. That's why
sometimes it works in Vidic's favor. Like Drogba, Drogba fell for it. Drogba fell for it.
No, it happens all the time. You're right, Tosin.
Yeah, but he did.
When he falls hard, man.
But it bit us in 09, 010 because if you look at that year, those 2 games he lost to Chelsea cost us the league, and Drogba went crazy in both games.
Yeah. If
Yep.
that's what I'm saying. They could get guard, emotional
I
defenders.
agree.
Get
I
guard.
agree.
Mm.
SSB said Vidic was getting cooked. Rio bailed him out. Yeah.
I mean,
I
I've
rate
seen,
Rio.
to be honest,
true.
they
You know
both.
what,
I've seen them
that's a
both
good
get
point.
cooked.
No, like they're both. I looked at Vidic and Rio as like
5 and
equals
6.
almost.
They're like 5 and
Yeah,
6.
like
yeah.
they look like 2 number 1 center backs playing with each other.
Exactly.
They're both world class center backs.
Yeah.
SSB said okay. SSB said Vidic was getting cooked against Australia.
I mean, he plays for Serbia, man. Like, you know.
Relax.
Man, listen, shout out to Cahill, man.
Those names you mentioned, that's not bad to get cooked by.
I mean, that's true. That's true. I mean, he did. I mean, to be
SSB also
honest,
said,
Like who wasn't Torres
SSB
cooking?
said
Let's be honest.
Ghana and Asamoah Gyan was cooking.
That is true.
That is true.
Guillaume was just scoring purely penalties, man. Come on, stop it. Just purely
You guys are sick in this thing,
he was scoring in penalties.
This is bad. This is bad. This is chai. This is bad. You guys are this is bad. Vidic getting cooked by generational talent. Come on now.
But the last year we won the league, bro. I'm gonna be honest. Like, our defense wasn't good, man. Like,
It was terrible. Y'all used to concede hella goals.
Aiden Blue, shout out to you. Aiden Blue said modern defender requires more technicality as compared to old days in terms of the physicality and fighting right now with VR. Most old school defender will be getting red card every 2
That's
games.
true. That's true.
I mean, I don't know, because at the same time, like what's the name? Somebody says a different era. Those defenders might adjust their style. You know what I'm saying?
No,
That's hard.
it's possible though. Very possible.
You never know.
It's possible.
No, the type of shit
never
people
know.
getting away with back then was I highly doubt you can do that again.
I
again,
said,
man.
how can you be a standout player for England when they didn't even win anything? Ballack didn't win the UCL or World Cup, but are we saying Ballack isn't better than
Khedira
yeah. from Juventus?
No, Ballack is definitely better than Khedira.
Ballack is a better player. I like Ballack.
Ballack was just unlucky, guys. Let's be honest. Just very unlucky guy.
Shamir Khedira.
Very unlucky guy.
Sammy can play ball though.
Sammy can play. I like Sammy too. Honest question.
Sammy on a good day.
As SB said, honest question: is Ramos even better than Piqué prime for prime? Spain rated Piqué as the best central back than Ramos back then when Spain was winning back.
Okay, the Spain thing, I think it's more political than anything else, to be honest. I don't know. I feel like it was a bit more political than it should have been.
Piqué is underrated, man, because in his prime, like, I remember the Red Bull around it, bro. In his
Very,
prime,
I think Piqué, very good
up there.
defender. Very
He was
good.
up there,
Very,
man.
very good.
Yeah, like honestly, I know this was a Premier League discussion with the Premier League center backs, but if we're doing like all the center backs all together, it's more interesting at that point. Like,
Yeah.
where would you put?
We'll probably do one maybe very soon. I want to rate APL defender across the whole entire. We're gonna pick some defenders and we're gonna rate them. I want to rate some.
Can I ask you guys a quick question?
Mm-hmm.
If a player has a 2-3 year prime, does that and a player and the second example is somebody who plays for a club for 15 years at the highest level but has maybe only a 1 year prime, which one is better? Like, for example, Van Dijk's had 2-3 years, but then Rio Ferdinand played from Leeds all the way to United for like that's probably like close to 15 plus years or so, something like that.
But
I'll give it to Rio because
but Rio didn't have like 1 year of a prime.
For me,
though.
I rate consistency in a defender.
Yeah, but what is prime though? Like, what are we judging prime on? Like, if you've won a league title, you're one of the best players for your squad. Maybe you didn't win a Ballon d'Or, you weren't nominated, or you weren't in maybe the Premier League team of the season, but you know you're still an important part of the team. So, like for example, Man City just won the Premier League, but they won a treble. But Kyle Walker might not be voted best right back of the season, or he might not be voted Champions League best defender at right back, but he was an important part of that team winning. Same with like maybe the goalkeeper, Edison. Edison might not have had the most clean sheets last season, but he had a good season. So like, how do you judge like a prime versus like being consistent, playing for Man United, Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool, Man City for 15 years versus like just saying, well, this guy's really, really good because he had like 2 years. Like, I don't feel like it's a fair balance. Like Van Dijk's getting dragged into this conversation, but
so how do you feel about Ronaldinho's 2-3 year prime where he was the best in the world? Do you think?
But Ronaldinho still played for like about 10 years.
Yeah, but he wasn't.
But he had a legitimate prime though. Like he had a legitimate prime where he was the guy, 04 to like 06.
No, but the thing is, right? Is you cannot be in your prime throughout your career.
Yeah, that's basically what I'm trying to say.
So a prime for me is a transition process. Like every world-class player
has a prime.
Yeah, has a prime, and when you pass that prime, when they say Chimera, I think that's what they call in basketball, going over the hump. When you're going close to going over that hump, is what you can do to sustain that makes you a world-class player. Because your prime is anything you touches turns to gold. If you fart, it's a goal. If you fart, it's a pass. That's your prime.
Thiago Silva is 38 of it. Look at him.
No, but I think what prime is pretty much when those players were at their prime.
yo, why do Blue Eyes do Thiago Silva like that though? Like
because if you think about Van Dijk, like his overall career has been very underwhelming. But he's had a very good couple of years, so now he's like being thrown with the elites.
But how good was Van Dijk?
Can you blame Van Dijk for that?
What if Van Dijk was really good? What if Van Dijk was really good at Celtic and Southampton? We didn't acknowledge him back then. We just weren't acknowledging him.
I get what you mean, but what I'm saying is these guys are operating at the highest level of football. I'm talking about Champions League, Premier League, FA Cup, turning up to finals at the highest level for 15 years. Then you've got a guy who comes in and has been playing mediocre level of football up until his late 20s. And then all of a sudden, he's now one of the best centre-backs to ever do it. But these guys have to prove themselves year in, year out for 10 plus years, like winning Premier Leagues at the highest level, internationally at the highest level. I think someone was saying Van Dijk just got called up like 2-3 years ago. So like, how do you, like, I just don't really see how that can quantify. I don't think it balances out. I think it's not a fair comparison. That's why I said I don't even think Van Dijk should be anywhere near the list because, he's had his prime was amazing and it's on par with some of their prime.
Cruz, you know what? You bring up a very intelligent point. But the one thing I'll say about that is the what is it called? The genesis of the super team is probably what is favoring the people like Van Dijk because teams would go above and beyond to win now. They'll buy whatever it takes. In those days when we had players that would, like you said, would play the marathons before they could prove themselves, you could tell that these are teams that were grinding.
Come on, don't. How can you say that as a Chelsea fan, bro? How can you say you had super teams, like you had a super team off rip, bro? Stop, bro.
Thomas, wait, Blue Eyes.
You're not hearing what I'm saying. Hold on, you're not hearing what I'm saying. The thing is, of course, Chelsea is also victim to that super team mentality. But some of these defenders that we're looking at right now, the time they played, it was a different generation. Now people look how many super players Liverpool had to bring in for Van Dijk to eat.
Boo. Who are these players? You need to tell me these players, man.
Oh, come on, man. Are you serious?
Let me read the chat.
Mane Salah.
Icy said Ramos.
They came in before. They came in before Van Dijk, bro. They came in before Van Dijk.
It was part of the plan. It was part of the plan, bro.
Hold on. Let me read the chat. Icy said Ramos defined the meaning of acrobatic defender.
No, don't do this. Ramos wasn't some Yap stand defender, man. He was great.
Is Terry the most versatile player on this list in terms of system?
Yes.
Yes, I believe. Yes.
I think he could have fit any system. To be honest with you.
After that, Blue Eyes, go back to your point because I want to hear your point.
Yeah. I see. Also said VVD had to defend Tammy Abraham and Kai Havertz and Lacazette. They had to.
No, he defended Aguero too. Don't do that. And Harry Kane. Let's not. Why are we doing this, man? Why are we doing this?
No, it's just funny, man. Thomas, it's just funny. You don't need to take it to heart.
Terry had to defend.
It's just funny, man. Just laugh.
Torres, Luis, and Thierry Henry. Child. Vote said, are we going to talk about the Dakar Tammy passing his medical? Yes, we've talked about him already.
What about Nicolas Jackson?
Yeah.
Dakar Tammy, no. That name
Who
has
is
stuck blue eyes.
who is better, Baresi or Maldini?
I don't know, man. That's for Abdullah. So, that's for Abdullah.
It's tough, but
But
I'll
yo,
go
honestly,
for Baresi. I'll go for Baresi.
I just want to
Paulo,
when
man.
people,
Paulo, man.
but when people ask that question, I always say like, can you mention one iconic Maldini performance at club level?
Yeah, but
Just one.
That's not
You
the way to
can't,
look at Maldini.
or even country level. But with Baresi, you can always point to 1994 World Cup final. You can always report to that
Maldini's
if you're a student of the game.
Oh.
But Maldini,
No,
I don't know.
but
I think
Maldini
Maldini.
was a
No, real
left
thing.
foot back.
Unpopular opinion. I think Maldini overrated, bro. On God.
No, but
But
wasn't he
Let's
on
move
the
on. Let's move on.
Maldini was a left full back for most of his
Tayo
career.
said, Abdul, what can we do to help you promote Blue Studio other than likes?
Why are you asking Abdul?
Don't mind.
Help support also. IC said being constant is very important. BC, it shows season after season you don't drop your form.
But I don't understand. When did Van Dijk, like, other than last season, that was really the only than like this past season, that was really Van Dijk's only like.
I see also said that is why we all rate Messi and Ronaldo highly.
But Van Dijk's only really been at Liverpool since what, 2018, 2017,
he's been
2018?
There and the
2018.
That's like
let me
5 years.
Tayo said you may need to collab or do promotion on bigger channel. You have a good partner. We'll see. I'll work on that. I'm working on that. We'll see though. I think Thiago Silva is better than Van Dijk and company. I agree with that.
Nah, I can't say that.
No, it's true. He's better.
I agree. For me,
he's better. He's honestly better.
I can't say
Nothing
he's better.
is fair.
I can't say he's better than Rio.
IC said you can argue that Ruben Diaz is supposed to be on the list instead of Van.
No.
Bro, I'm gonna say something.
Please,
bro. I'm gonna be honest, bro. Ruben Diaz, like, if anybody wants to talk about system, I'm not saying Ruben Diaz is trash. He's a really good defender. But if anybody wants to bring up system player, then I'm saying Ruben Diaz is one of the top players on that list. Because, bro, look at him for Portugal. He's terrible.
At Portugal, exactly. He's really bad.
Yeah, but name any player on that City team that is not a system player, and I'll show you. I'll show you Rihanna. I'll show you me and Rihanna.
Let's say Terry, Company, Vidic, and Van Dijk. SSB said Liverpool didn't bring in super player. Club developed these guys.
That's true. Blue, that's true.
I said Dakatami is crazy. Stop. KDB is
it's stuck, man. It's stuck. It's a new nickname.
Nah, KDB is not assistant player, man.
SSB said we should have this convo with the rest of Europe centre back. I think that would be interesting. Yeah, we'll probably see what I can. We'll probably do one. I have so many. I want to do so many debates with Cellini, Pepe, Ramos.
Man, I don't know. Bro.
Relax, Ramos.
My boy Bonucci.
We need to have that discussion because
Bonucci, come on, bro.
Yeah, man, I love Bonucci, man. He was that guy, man.
Bonucci, my guy. I remember that he was it Euro 2020 when he hold on Saka. Was like, Saka, if they burn you, pass me.
Come back here.
Nah, Bonucci got.
Was it Bonucci? That was Cellini, though. That was Cellini. Was it Bonucci?
I mean, but you gotta.
He was England, Italy now. When Saka passed him, he not do Saka back. Hey, Mr. Man, I know you are.
Nah, I'm Bonucci.
That was Chiellini. It was Chiellini.
That was Chiellini.
Nah, but that Juve 16-17 defense was watertight, man. You know, until they met
So let's end it up with this, Mr. Blue Eyes. I'm gonna come to you on this. We've talked about this topic for a very long. This man is annoying me, but I don't want to talk too much on him because it's got to a stage where we have to find a solution to it. He's divided the fan base. He divided so many.
Finally, the main event.
You see, he has divided so many fan base, and I'm saying it again. I do not think United will pay 60-65. The max United will pay is what
Abdullah, can you click on my profile, please?
Relax. So,
Blue Eyes, please.
Going forward now, what do we do? Because the report has been coming out from Austin, from Fabrizio. Mason wants to leave United, and he has already said it. Either you sell me now or I leave in January, or I'm going to sign a pre-contract in January or in June. I'm going to leave as a free agent. As a Chelsea board, Blue Eyes, what do we do? What do you think you can do? Do you accept 55 and say peace out, God bless, or you say give me more money? United don't pay more money. They're going to stick with 55. That's it.
Yeah, you see, this is a tough one And like I said to you in your last stream, Abdullah, it is more. This is more than a business deal, right? But I think Todd Bowley and Co have made it a business deal. They've sort of, and doing it that way, I think is smart because you drastically depart from emotional attachment because Mason Mount is, like I always say, is kind of part of the furniture. It's like part of the Chelsea ecosystem. So if you can tear yourself away from that sentiment and just execute this deal based on business, what they're doing is absolutely right. So now, therein lies the question: what is the right number to pull this trigger?
55.
What
But
is the right number? Because that's 55 cents to me that they'll last they'll probably collect 70.
United are not paying above. They're not paying above.
For a player with a year left on his deal,
year
it's
left
just
in his
nuts.
contract.
To play 70, 60 is nuts, man.
Exactly. But remember,
That's
this
too
is
much.
this is pure 200% profit, Tosin. This kid didn't cost us anything. He's from the backyard, man. He's from our
I know
nursery.
you're playing hardball right now, you know.
You have to. We have the leverage. We have the leverage because he's not costing us anything.
To be
So
honest, even 55 mil, bro, that's too much. If I'm being honest.
well, but hey,
yeah,
do you know how much? Do you know how much Declan Rice is worth?
Probably. I mean,
exactly.
In a market that makes sense, Declan Rice is worth 40 million euros, nothing more.
Stop!
I don't
Stop!
understand.
Like,
I don't
man, these
understand
guys,
this.
they don't want to
Rice is
get
worth at least
they just average
7
players.
mil.
Like
Let's
there's
not lie.
basmati
Average.
rice, like there's long grain rice, there's short
Thank
grain. I don't
you.
know why
If
Basmati rice,
Chimeni,
you
if
paying
Chimeni cost 100 mil, bro.
80, 90, 100 million
Let
for
Blue Eyes speak. Blue Eyes
a
speak.
sitting
Blue Eyes speak.
Again,
midfielder. That's crazy.
so for me, it's come to. I think it, like I always say, it has come to the crossroads for Mason Mount. You know, he can only drag this thing for so long, and I know it has nothing to do with him. He has a negotiating squad. So if you look at it, there's two ways to look at it. Mason Mount can just stay till January and figure it out. He can play till January. His stock will go up.
Wait, how will it go up? Will he play? Will he be
because-
playing? Will he be
Oh,
playing?
come on. This guy's going to command the shirt. Come on. He's going to command the shirt. If Pochettino throws this boy a bone, he's going to command the shirt. And this is not me trying to say that Mason Mount is. I know he's been shit. I'm not here to big him up or anything. But again, so there's that. Okay, there's that worst
You have a
case.
soft spot for him, though. I know you love him.
Oh man,
That's low.
Blue Eyes.
That's
Tell
low,
him
bro.
the nickname. Blue Eyes, tell him the nickname.
Let him
What is
speak.
the name, Blue Eyes? Say his real name.
Match, you know.
Exactly, match.
Match.
That's
That's match. Match,
So
my
speak.
one. Yo, bro. So again, so that's one option. Option number two, right, is force Chelsea's hand because right now we're gonna know if where Chelsea really stands.
Blue Eyes, can I please ask you a
Let
question?
Blue Eyes finish. Let him finish.
Oh, hold on, Abdullah.
Go ahead, ask me, man.
Hold on, Abdullah. Should be on holiday. Or are you in a hurry?
Ask me.
No. Because I want everybody to. But go ahead.
We all go. No problem. Blue Eyes. So the thing is relating to what you said in terms of what he will what he's costing 55.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Don't worry, continue, man. I don't forget every time I ask, man. Abdullah, don't let me forget.
No problem. So again, so for me, right? If Mason Mount, for me personally, if Mason Mount doesn't get what Mason Mount wants, Mason Mount shouldn't move. He should not move. The only reason Mason Mount leaves is because Mason Mount gets what he wants. For me, it's the Mason Mount Inc. show. That's all I'm trying to say. And if that is the reason why, and I doubt that that's the reason why this deal is dragging, but if that is the reason why this deal is dragging, that's the least this boy deserves for what he has done for us. So,
why do you think this deal is dragging, actually?
In all honesty, it is a case between Mason Mount. I'm thinking, and like I said, I'm not part of the ecosystem. I'm just thinking it's a case where Mason Mount wants to get his pure value from Chelsea as a player. Since this is his first contract, right? or
No,
major one.
I mean, why is it dragging between Chelsea and Man United?
Because
Not the player.
Mason Mount hasn't gotten what he wants, and Chelsea haven't gotten what they want either. So it's a case
But what
where
does Mason Mount want? What does Mason Mount want?
He wants to
Doesn't
leave.
he want to leave? He wants to leave.
he doesn't
right?
want to leave. Never wanted.
I heard I heard
Mason Mount wants to leave, bro.
Like,
I heard his.
Mount
I
fan,
heard
don't,
his.
don't get me wrong.
Honestly, I'm gonna say this, bro. This deal to me, it's honestly
The only
fine.
reason why Mason Mount wanted. Sorry, Filter, 1 second. The only reason why it ended up sounding as if Mason Mount wanted to leave is because the negotiation process came to a stalemate. Then the course of the discussion changed. So it's not like Mason Mount woke up one day and said, "I'm out." No, it's actually Mason Mount woke up one day and said, "Yo, can I get my bag?"
So why is
please?
he giving Chelsea an ultimatum? Like,
He's not giving Chelsea an ultimatum. This is the art of negotiating, man. Everybody's trying to get the best position. Everybody's trying to get the best piece of.
Blythe, does he want his move? Does he want his move to United?
No, but listen, Chimera, and guys, please correct me if I'm wrong. This thing, at the end of the day, Mason Mount might not get what he wants by staying at Chelsea, but if he goes to Man U, it's a huge political statement. It favors Mason Mount. It's a nice look on the Mason Mount brand. So if you bring it down to branding, he actually went. It's like going from what do you call it in what's the name of the biggest schools in the world? Ivy League. It's like going from one Ivy League to another. Yeah, it's like going from Harvard to which one?
Princeton.
Yale or something.
Princeton or Yale. Thank you. So it's again. So there's that part. Then the other part is the fans. The fans destroyed this boy. And it's fair. That's Chelsea. There's nobody gets away with.
Isn't he a fan favorite though?
He split the fandom.
He used to be.
He used to be. So the ones that like him are on his side.
They ride or die for him.
The Johnny Minerals, the Brexiteers,
So
the
again,
Queen, the loyalists.
Let me tell you, Tosin. My last statement, Abdullahi, is if by mistake Mason Mount doesn't go anywhere, it's going to be the best year Chelsea ever has.
Meet your man, Chimere.
Are you confident you are getting Mason or not?
I mean, to be honest, I'm gonna be real with you, man. To be honest, at this point, bro, like, it really doesn't matter to me. To be honest with you, man. At this point, like I honestly, I rate Mount. To be honest with you, like, I don't think he's a world class player, but I actually like him. Like his fit, the way he fits into the team. I think he's the kind of player
with Bruno.
Yeah, with Bruno, yeah. Because I like his fit. Because if you look at our profile, what we're missing, bro, like people think we need like this whatchamacallit, like this first base specialist, bro. And it's like if you look at the way the team is constructed, Ten Hag isn't trying to play that way. Because we have Casemiro already, who's a holding mid. We have Bruno, who's a creative mid who likes to.
He's a number 8, right?
No, he's an 8/10. Kind of thing he does, but he plays.
So is Mason in a way.
Yeah, but
that's
I'm saying
the thing.
Him and Mount are going to interchange.
Who do you think is going to replace Bruno in 2 years?
No,
calm
it's
down.
not. Because
Calm
if you
down.
if you remember Ten Hag's
Mount has
Ajax
any
team
sense of
before he came to
creativity.
United. Remember how Borgweiss and Gravenberg played, how they interchanged. That's what Ten Hag is trying to construct, and how he had Alvarez as his.
So
as
like
his holding
two advanced 8s, like De Bruyne, Silva with Pep on the Centurion team or something like that.
And then had Alvarez as the destroyer, pretty much like what Casemiro's going to be doing. That's how he wants to. That's how he wants to construct the team. And if you look at our profile, we don't have a guy to carry the ball in midfield. Bruno's a progressor, Casemiro's a progressor, and he's a ball winner. We don't have that guy to carry the ball. Eriksen's a progressor, and he has no legs. He can't defend at all. Mount offers ball progression, more dynamism, and he can defend. He has a work rate off the ball, which will make us stronger as a result. You know what I mean? So for me, like, I like the deal. I mean, it's a good turn. I like it. I mean, I don't think it's gonna put us over the top as like Premier League contenders or Champions League winners or all that, but it makes us better.
Hey, listen, man. United, if you guys want an off the ball work rate, we have a Gallagher, man. We have a Gallagher, please.
So what you're telling me is
Mount is clear now. Mount
because
Mount
for me, this is
we'll
what
give
I'm
both of them.
Hold on, Kim, because this is what I'm looking at the deal. I'm like, Chelsea already said it, they already rejected the bid. But United are saying it, we're not going to go up to 55 because it's our fair play. For me, I'm going to go with what Blair said. Mason has the power now.
Wait, is that 55 million pounds or euros? Or
I think it's euro.
No, but
No.
I mean,
It's pounds. It's between two
It's pounds,
British
okay.
clubs.
Because for
Pounds.
me,
Bro,
pounds
that's so
also,
much money, bro. Like what? Yo, Chelsea, man, y'all so
because
greedy,
let's
bro.
no,
go.
for me,
But
because for me,
Tosin.
guys, wait, guys, wait, I want to finish because I want to go to other guys to speak. Because for me, in this situation right now, Mason has the power over the board. So, which for me, Chelsea needs to accept this deal because they will look very stupid in the
Which
face
power
of
has
this
he?
situation.
Which power has he
And
got
that,
over the
I do not
board?
like it.
They'll accept it. He's gonna leave. He's
No,
gonna leave.
Abdullah,
For me, I know
which
he will
power? No, which power
coming
has
from a
Mason
Man U
Mount?
fan, coming from a Man U
No, he's
fan.
gonna Abdullah, you know he's gonna leave. He's gonna leave. You get your
No,
money. He's a
Nah,
guy who
that's
doesn't
gonna
want it.
hurt,
Doesn't
man. If we lose this kid, guys, that's gonna
you
hurt.
get your you get your money from what? Well, Blue Eyes, at this point you don't have a choice.
Match my brother, match man.
No, see,
Tosi,
Blue Eyes,
match my brother is leaving, man.
No, Blue Eyes, I respect it because you're talking football. That's why I respect it. But when it comes to Mount, like the guy has made it clear one, he doesn't want to be there. And already if he stays there for this year, it's gonna be every time he comes there, it's gonna be boo, boo, boo. It's gonna be bad. Because not only does he want to
He's
leave,
gonna get booed, really?
He's gonna get calls.
He wants to leave for a rival. Not only does he want to leave, he made it clear he wants to go to a rival team. So like he's gonna leave. He's gonna get his move. It's just negotiation tactics.
So what if he stays? What's the worst that can happen? Is the booze?
I'm just saying
what can happen from the team to under 21.
Like he doesn't want. It's
Mbappe,
best when
hold
you
on.
have a team.
Mbappe
No,
stayed,
you're not
right?
putting him in under 21. No way.
Hold on, Mbappe stayed, right? What about Kane? Did Kane stay?
I mean, Kane doesn't have the minerals, man. Come on.
Kane is a coward. Bless.
Wait, is Kane gonna leave? By the way, I know it's
he's not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere, man.
Chimere, let me ask you one question.
Go ahead.
Okay. If you guys secure Mason Mount, which personally I don't really care if you secure a signature or not, because there's news that Bayern are actually hovering around the deal at the moment. Yeah, but if you guys secure Mason Mount, are you going to be celebrating signing Mason Mount than when you signed Casemiro?
Nah.
What?
I mean, I'm gonna be real with you, bro. Like, to be honest with you, I mean,
yeah. How do the United fans feel about this potential Mason Mount potentially?
I mean,
it seems to me like Man U fans are actually finding a reason to love Mason Mount. Like, okay. If we get Mason Mount, he's gonna do this and this and that and that. I don't see any emotion attached to it. Like, oh, I'm going to be so over the moon. Oh, I wish we get him. Blah blah blah. Let's just pay the 5 million difference and let's get him. He will do that. We'll be the best. The next best team in the world.
Think it's a good move. That's it. Like, I don't think Mount is this world class world beater that's going to change the team. I just think it's a good move. Like, I just think he fits what we need.
Yeah, he's better than Eriksen.
Yeah, and he's an upgrade. Like, I'm just saying, he'll improve the team. That's it. Like, I don't think it's like you get Mount and now, oh, United are Premier League contenders, they're gonna win the CL. I just think it makes us better. That's why I'll be happy with the move. You know, it makes us better. But as far as like, you know, how United fans feel, it's half and half. Some United fans are like, oh, Mount, you know, doesn't fit. Some United fans are like, oh, they, you know, just trust Ten Hag. Some are like, oh, they'd rather have Caicedo. But this
so there's no consensus really.
No, there's no consent. But it's always like that.
I just feel sorry for the board because if he goes there and doesn't perform for like 3 months, well, I suppose it's Man United, so it's a big team. Sanchez hasn't performed, and Rooney hasn't performed, so you know, it's just going to be one of the, I don't know what I'm going to call him after a while. But I don't know why he's going there, but I think mainly the main difference now is actually the money issue. And I think the difference in the money actually boils down to what I was saying earlier on. Okay, because Man United know he wants to be seen. Chelsea knows he wants to be seen. That's why we're charging such an amount for somebody that has 1 year left in his season. So 1 year left in his contract. So at the end of the day, he will go. He will leave Chelsea, but I'm not really sure where he will go. Because if you play with this deal, I believe Bayern might snatch him.
And let them get him.
But Bayern won't pay more though than what United are offering. You know.
But I'm saying,
no, they might be able to arrange. I don't know.
But wouldn't Chelsea rather sell to a European team than to a rival?
Yeah,
Football
they
wise,
would, yeah.
that's the thing. Football wise, we don't really care.
Exactly. This is a free market. Whoever pays the most
Football,
gets him. It's that simple.
it's not gonna make you win the league next season. That's for sure. It's
I'm
not
saying,
because of
but
Mason Mount you're gonna win the league.
but I'm saying, but Mason Mount is an upgrade. Whatever Ten Hag is trying to build, he sees Mount as an essential part of it, and I have to back Ten Hag because what Ten Hag has shown me is the first season he showed me that he can make the team better. So if Ten Hag wants Mount to see him as essential part of the team, you got to back it. Just because this guy.
I don't know what Ten Hag is trying to build again.
Then
But if he thinks
we have to see it because we don't know how Ten Hag intends to use Mount. We have to see all that first before we start talking about what Mount can do, cannot do with United. Because we said about a lot of players. What is this guy gonna do under Ten Hag? We said about Rashford, how Rashford fits in. Rashford had pretty much the best year of his career. People were telling me how will Bruno play with Ten Hag. Bruno can't. Van de Beek is gonna bench him. Bruno had one of the best years of his career. So we have to see what he wants to do Mount because for Ten Hag is not a foolish coach. If he wants Mount, he wants him for a reason. He intends to use him a certain way. People were saying Ericsson couldn't play deep. He's a number 10. He played Ericsson deep and it worked well for most of the season. So you have to see how he intends to use Mount.
Mr. Cruz, as a Chelsea fans, Mason Ogichukwu Mount, the boy who has a dream, is about to move to Manchester United.
Don't give Mount a Nigerian name.
Imagine.
the boy who wants to leave, who has a dream,
Who wants to leave?
Oh my god!
Cruz, give me your take. The boy who wants to leave. Go ahead. Cruz, go ahead, brother. Cruz, are you there? I think Cruz is muted.
He might be doing something.
Keyman, the boy
Wait,
who
what
wants.
happened?
Cruz, are you there? Okay.
You might be doing something, Cruz.
Keyman,
That's
the boy who wants to leave is about to go
No,
to
no.
United.
This is the boy who sold everyone a dream. That's what he is. We are making a gigantic fuss over the most mediocre of mediocre players on this earth. This man is Greek yogurt personified. Let's be honest. United, 55 mil. I would have given you him for free. Let me not lie to you. This kid. No, let me be honest. This kid, his head has become too big to keep in this place. He is the dandelion that has grown too tall for the hedges. We want the place that we are right now. We do not need these type of idiots. We do not need Mason Mount and his baggage. If he signs a contract, okay, listen. I don't care, but he doesn't want to sign. The main issue I have with Mason Mount is such a mediocre player has such backing. It boggles my mind. And the other day I was on Twitter and I saw this thread about how this guy has Beckham's former PR team controlling his image. And I just realized, oh my God, does Mason Mount think that he can become the next Beckham?
Why not?
I don't want to live in a world like that. It makes no sense.
He can be better than Beckham. What are you talking
No,
about?
but this guy, listen, Mason Mount, listen, I've said this many times, he's going to be exposed. He's going to be exposed. I don't care what United do with him. He's not my player anymore. I really do not give a shit. This guy and his fan base have been the antithesis to my existence, arguing with these idiots with Johnny Minerals, literal grown men, 50-year-old men riding on the dick of a 21-year-old boy. I don't get it.
Relax.
I don't get it. I swear to God, I don't get it, man. If you want to rate a player, you talk about what he does on the pitch. Don't show me TikToks. Don't show me Vaseline commercials. I don't. What is this? United, 30 million, even 15 million would have been more than enough for me. But these owners are just retarded. I can't even lie. They're just foolish.
Don't sign. Push this.
No, Mount is no.
Kime, listen. I've said this before and I'll say it again. I even said it about the Havertz. If this guy does not fit and is not doing something for me, why should I keep him? If United, you guys feel as if he can do something for your project, let it be. I don't care. Todd, Clear Lake, guys, put pen to paper. 58 mil plus 7. Fire the idiot who thought of that. 55 mil is more than enough. Why are we talking about a mediocre idiot that just this is?
They'll sell him. They'll sell him.
Kiman. People love to see Mason Mount. People love to see him That's what is holding back the negotiation, period. And that is what is driving
Exactly.
the negotiation. That is
Exactly.
where
Abdul,
the difference is. It's got nothing to do with football. People love to
Abdul,
watch.
Abdul, I
People love
understand
to
now. I
see
ask you,
him.
a player like Mason Mount, would he have been able to survive in the early ages before social media, in the early 2000s, mid 2000s? Hell no.
He will be no. He will be Robbie Savage. That's all.
It just be some rando. Let's be honest. But United, thank you. I really want him to go. Get rid of Mount. Get rid of Mount. Do not. I don't want to go to a 23-24 season with Mount still there. I will not be able to handle it.
He
Please.
won't be
Wow,
there.
you're very creative with your thinking. I didn't even see you coming, Kima. Very original submission. Wow. Okay.
Blue eyes, don't be mad. Your boy's
But,
leaving. Don't be mad.
This
to
is
be
how you
honest,
feel about Mason. Wow, I'm surprised that you come
but
up.
Kima, the thing is, I want us to. I'm desperate for a new Chelsea when it comes to negotiation, because to me, for the past 15, 20 years, we've been soft when it comes to negotiation. So
I get what you mean, Abdul.
I don't
But
want
think
us
about
to
it this way.
collect anything less than 60.
Abdul, think about it this way,
Because
right? Abdul,
yeah,
we are at a very pivotal point as a football club. We are heading forward. We cannot have a Lukaku 2.0 in the dressing room again. I don't want to have that
yeah,
again.
I know. Yeah,
We cannot have that. If this guy wants to go that badly, let him go.
let him
I
go.
don't want to go to preseason having Mason Mount saga on Sky Sports. What is this?
And it could turn into that. It could turn into that. So I don't know. I would like us to prove a point by not budging below 60. But as you've said, it's better to get him out of the door if he wants to leave. And basically, any player, I don't care how good you are, once you mention to any club, especially Chelsea, that you want to leave, they should just open the door. I'm tired of all this player power.
Yes, sir.
Can you imagine like how we've been dragged, through the mud by Lukaku? This guy hasn't even played one season, more than one season for us. It's causing us so much trouble. So I don't know how they want to work out the 5 million difference in the whole show. But I don't know. But if he has to go, let him go and let him go quick, because we've got a team to build anyway.
Fair enough.
Exactly. That's the
Let
entire
me
point,
quickly read the
Abdul.
chat
Thank you.
and we'll round it up with Vietnam. So let me read the chat. Lord have mercy. Messi. Like me, I cannot wait for the celebration party. I'm just
My
waiting.
thing with this whole Mason Mount thing, man, like Chelsea honestly have been stubborn because, like, just let the guy go, bro. Because, bro, like he wants to leave. He has 1 year left on his contract, and these guys are asking for almost 65 million. Are you mad?
Bro, it's United. You need United tax plus
Like
rival
that's
tax.
crazy, bro. Like if this guy was in at Chelsea, honestly, 1 year left on his contract, 40 million maximum, bro. Like why would I be paying like
Because
over?
Vitor, I still believe he will go to United with 55 million. I
Like
believe
why
he
would
will.
I pay like
Chelsea
almost
will
70
see.
million? You might as well get a new player,
Vitor,
bro.
this is what I believe, and this is what I've been hearing, saying.
Like if he doesn't leave this summer, he leaves for free next season. So
But
the problem is,
Chelsea value him. Chelsea value him. They look at Mount and they value him at 80 mil. That's how much
yeah,
they
but
value
the
him. So
issue is
Kimmery, it's not only that. It's not only that. When we sold Havertz for 65 million, I think the ownership actually got shocked and said, "Hey, we can get 65. There's no way we're going to let Mason Mount go for anything less than 60." But I'm not. I don't like it, man. I really don't like it, man.
because Vitor, this is what me I believe. Reading from Austin, Fabricio, so many reporter, Chelsea will find a way to compromise with United. They will go for
he'll leave.
and I
He'll
think they
leave.
will agree. What do you say, Chimere?
No, I'm saying Mount will. He'll leave. He'll get his move.
For me, he will get his move, and that's why I said he has a bargaining power over the board because he has a 1 year deal. So Chelsea doesn't want to lose him for free without getting money from him. So this is where it is very dicey situation. The fan base is splitted. Some are cursing him, some are wanting him to stay. Majority want him to go because of the Dilema. You can't come to a preseason with a new manager and having a Mason Mount topic sentence each
Yeah,
and every day.
whenever you have a cancer in any team, they have to go. I'm not saying like I'm not saying he's a cancer as in like
Exactly.
he's a bad person. I'm saying like his head is clearly not in the club.
Exactly.
Whenever
You
have
can't have
that
that kind
team
of person in
dynamic,
the club because
you have to
if
get
you
rid
said
of him.
it's not in the club, we're gonna feel as a club. if a player head is not in the club, there's no way in hell he will be focused because his mind isn't going to be in Chelsea.
No,
So
he doesn't want to stay. He,
he does
he's
not want
ready
to
to
stay.
go. He's ready to go.
So the
I don't
best.
know how that what they want is gonna happen. I don't know how they're gonna get the magic number, but this kid doesn't want to go. And but the thing is, if they don't sell him now, they'll probably sell him in January.
No,
Yeah,
no,
but
no.
then
He's saying,
He will
but
sign
then
a
you get
pre-contract
less
in
for him.
January to any club if you like.
You get
sorry,
less.
you get they'll probably sell him to an overseas club for less. I don't know. They'll
Go
have
ahead,
to get.
Jimmy, go ahead. Before I get the shot, go ahead.
I'm just saying if you sign him in January, you'll get less because I think this 55 mil is probably the best offer you get for him, honestly, out of every club. And and I think he wants to. I think preferably, I don't really think it's a thing that he just wants to leave Chelsea. I think he wants a certain destination he wants to go to.
That's a very good point. And this is why I say that this guy's PR team was Beckham's former PR team and actually helped him get to United. I think that they've sold him a dream of United, and I have no issue against it. Let him go there. Why are you stopping a man from going to where he wants to go? It's weird.
Let me read the shot. Tayo said money maze. IC said we should have an argument about Midfielder.
Oh man, if you do content for Vieira, man, it will get
I will draw very statement. Number one is
it'll get very
better than
controversial.
Vieira in terms of overall career and footballing ability. We'll let that discussion not today, but we'll see. Kante is a football god. Kante should be a football run more. That's a data that this is a debatable line. We'll see. We'll do that discussion. Does Man United need Mason? I know they want him, but do they really need him? Yeah, I think he will fit well.
It's all on Ten Hag. I think he sees him in his plans, like Himmler said. So it is what it is.
Stay. The grown up involved messing everything up. His daddy and Chelsea board. Interesting.
Now Mason doesn't. If he really wanted to stay, then he would just sign a contract.
He's a 24-year-old. The guy is 24 years old. He's not a child.
I don't believe this, but we'll see.
Nah, Moises. To be honest, Caicedo is good, but I don't think it makes sense for us to sign him. I don't even think it really makes sense.
I don't believe the report, but we'll see.
Him and Mount are different profiles. So if we're signing him, I don't see how you can go from Mount to Caicedo. That's a different profile.
I solely believe if Silva played for Barcelona, he would have been talked about as the best centre back in 2010, and it wouldn't be done. We'll see. Messi, Mount,
I'd lie. There's something. I'd lie, but if you look at most like these English players, like you look at most of them, there's something when it comes to like playing for United where the head gets turned. You know what I mean? Like most of these young English dudes, like you look at guys like Sancho, now Mount, instead of like when it comes to United, like the head gets turned.
No, Abdullah, can you go back to the comment before the earlier one?
What do you think it was?
I
don't think so.
Abdullah, can you go back to the earlier comment, please, for a second? The earlier one.
Which one is that?
The one before you just read.
Messi Mount want to stay?
No. Yeah, this one about Mbappe. Yes. If to the ownership, listen, it's too late now. It is too late. You can't. No, please don't. Continue.
Yeah, it's the bridge is burned.
Bob said we are stupid for selling for Mason for high. We should have just accepted the.
It's just negotiation tactics. Chelsea Mount will, because at the end of the day, Chelsea knows that Mount wants to go to United. United want him, and Chelsea want everybody knows. What I'm saying? So he knows. So Chelsea knows that they have.
If Mount is the leader of our midfield for the future, I can't wait for that. I can't wait to play United then. Mason Mount cook on that port. You see, Abdul is. Mason can pull on Mbappe. With 1 year left.
I don't see it, man. I don't see it.
You won't, man.
He should go to
what
Bayern.
we want to do, it's no.
He's not going.
Said Eric and Hag great team. United fans have to back the coach.
He's not going to Bayern, man. I don't see him going to Bayern.
I don't think he gets the same bag as United if he goes to Bayern.
Chelsea is willing to sell to Bayern for less. It's possible.
But I don't know. I don't think he wants to go to. I think he wants to go to United.
Yeah. 8x and Gunnar said Arteta wanted him over Harvard apparently, and he declined us now from what has been reported.
Oh my God, Arteta is a very weird guy.
But Bayern might say if we get you for free, then we'll give you what you want.
Chelsea bought a good business.
But maybe what he wants is specifically United because he wants to. Because maybe I'm just saying, like, when it comes to young English players, there's a reason they want to go to United. It's
not even United. They would rather stay in
want
England.
to go into a season with Dakatami and Leo Choke. Mount is more productive than anything.
Vote with your feet. We are not setting up.
We need productivity,
a rap
not
group.
win.
What's this?
No, wait. Vote. Can I respond to that? Like Abdul said, you do not know what team you have until the transfer window is opened. So that's it, man. That's all I can say. Wait till this transfer window is open, then we can talk.
Lukaku and Mount issue is different. Mount actually deserve more money. 8-1 Gunnar said, "Has Poch make any statement regarding the situation?" I think based on the report, Poch
he said he wants him and he's trying to talk to him.
I think he wants to go. English tax. We'll see.
Mount
8-1 Gunnar said, it is a distraction to the team development. I
agree. Exactly.
At the moment, Babarama's salary is larger than Mason Mount. Enzo is on over 300,000.
No, he's not. Enzo is on 180, man. Come on, stop that.
To be honest, we don't know the full Mount story, so I don't really know. I don't know if it's just about money. There's probably stuff
Enzo is on 90, not 300.
There's probably stuff going on behind the
So
scenes.
the guy is talking about 300k. Are you crazy?
Bully is keeping the number low.
Exactly.
So Tayo said if Mount signed in his previous regime, they would have paid crazy money. Bully changed everything.
I don't know if it's just about money though. Like I feel like there's stuff behind the scenes we just don't know.
Yeah, Mount.
But I mean, if you follow what the story between Chelsea and Mason Mount, you should know if it's all been positive news. So for people who are saying it's not just about money, where is it that Chelsea has done wrong to this kid? We've given him everything he wants. We've given him everything he needs. We've done everything to promote him. In some people's eyes, he's Chelsea's poster boy after the John Terry and the Frank Lampards. Okay, so I really don't know what his problem is, apart from somebody getting into his brain and planting something that is not real in it. You see,
we'll see though.
We will find out. We can't say for certain, but we'll find out.
Fabrizio said this week we're gonna know everything's gonna be cleared up.
I'm just ready for the saga to be over with, man.
Because Fabrizio said because he said Ten Hag wants him to be in the preseason early so he can join up with the squad and
yeah, bro. Because this mountain I'm sure this mountain is dragging up all our transfers. Also,
no, but I think you guys might sign him before the end of the month. Before July 1st, I think, or June 30th, you'd have signed him. Believe me.
I think it's gonna get done. It'll get done.
Mm-hmm. Maybe Friday.
It might be Tuesday, but I think it will get done.
No, I think Chelsea did just to give them a a deadline date, and says if you want Mason Mount, we are not going to have any discussion. We can only entertain the negotiation up until this date. After this date, don't call us anymore because we're not going to pick up we're not going to pick up the phone. Seriously, we need to get this done and over with. We've got like a team to build. We just don't need to. It's not a matter of like we have to add one or two.
So I don't want us to drag
entire team.
See, we are dragging this mess. We are dragging this message stuff, and it's annoying me.
That's what I'm saying. We've got a team to build. We can't be wasting time on some guy who is sulking on the side. We have plenty of negotiation to do.
It's gonna get done. It will get done.
Like the vid guys, subscribe, smash the like button, guys. We're gonna wait to see this week what's gonna happen this week. But I appreciate people for coming in. Smash the like button, guys. Like
Abdullah, one question before we leave, right? If Mount leaves, are we going to have a music ex parte Mount stream?
We're gonna have a celebration party
because we've been planning that music stream for a while.
I'm planning that a celebration party. Olamide, Davido, Whiskey, Burna Boy, Ashake.
Mr. Abdul, you're going to pop and lock in that stream, huh?
I am celebrating.
Pop and lock.
Yeah.
I am not joking. Celebrating. We are celebrating.
All right,
With
good
that,
All right,
guys.
guys.
Take care. Bye. Bye.
Big
yeah,
up, big
peace,
up, big
peace,
up, guys. Big up.
peace, peace, peace.